That is what I am talking about. What is going on, everyone? Welcome, Arvanauts. Welcome, everybody, to a Friday night stream. It is October 20th, 2023. It's about 20 minutes after 9 p.m. Eastern, and the time has come for Day 18 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, sponsored as always by Alligator Alley Entertainment, in a session we are calling tonight Into Celis. And I cannot wait to explain what that means as we get a little bit further into this session. Before we get there, just a couple of reminders about ways to support us on the channel. If you have not done so already, please follow us here on the channel. Please check out our YouTube with !ArvTube. Our Discord is !ArvCord. Our Twitter is !ArvTweets. Our Blue Sky, !ArvSky. And the website for all of that is arvaneleron.com. Financially, !Arv Shop is the merchandise area where you can get, right now, Eberron Oracle of War stuff. You can get basic Arvaneleron stuff. You're going to be getting some Shire Adventure stuff there very soon, within the next week or so. And you'll be able to get, well, I should say maybe 2 weeks. And you're going to be able to get pretty soon, hopefully by certainly the end of November or the beginning of December, I would hope, Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, this very campaign merchandise as well. I am very excited for all of that, and you can both support the channel and get some cool swag as you do that. So please support us there. Please support us by supporting the Patreon. We've got a number of new, what they're calling followers now, which are listed, which is cool. Those are people that have not yet become paid members but are still following the Patreon, and I'm hoping that they will be moved to do more than just follow, but actually step up with a little bit of financial support, which can get them cool stuff and which can get the channel cool stuff as we move towards various channel goals, including inspirations to help our players. And certainly the players are going to need some help. No, I'm just kidding. But they always would appreciate the help of inspirations. You can do that with !Arvtreon. Subbing to the channel is always a good thing. Our subathon was a big success. We want to maintain that success. So subbing and resubbing would be very much appreciated. Again, you can get those inspirations plus custom sub badges and emotes to use everywhere across Twitch. So please consider jumping on board with that. On the publishing side, !Icarus is my graphic novel from Athos Arts. !Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, my 5e adventure and source book from, again, sponsored Alligator Alley Entertainment, which is very cool. I posted on Twitter today and on Blue Sky that I was looking for some art for something, which I'm going to be announcing probably, I'm guessing at the break is where I'm going to announce this, about a big event that's coming up for us. And I was looking for some art for that, and I happened to run across someone has done a Tales and Tomes Night at the Forbidden Library, my first part of that adventure. They put together in actual what's called Warlock tiles, which is from WizKids, kind of like a cheaper Dungeon Forge, with miniature walls and things like that. And so they actually put together the Forbidden Library with cotton for mist in the rooms and stuff like that. And then they modified it as well. It was very cool. And I was just like, wow, I didn't even know this thing was there. So I jumped on and was like, this is amazing and thanks. And how do I do something cool like this and all that? And the person got back to me. So that was very neat. That is again from Alligator Alley Entertainment. Greyshade is my Greyshade novel. And I have just found out that, so let me tell you first of all, Greyshade and Renegade, the first two books of the Grey Assassin trilogy. You can get those right now. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade by Trent Sparks right now at that link. You can also pre-order Heretic, the final book in the Grey Assassin trilogy coming out next year. And you can also pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade being designed by Brandon O'Brien. And I mention this because that Brandon O'Brien designed thing is also coming from Alligator Alley. And according to the Alligator Alley folks who were at Gamehole Con this weekend, they brought 100 copies of the flyers for Greyshade TTRPG, and literally they were all gone in less than a day. So people are very interested in the Greyshade TTRPG, and I am super excited about that because it's going to be awesome. So definitely you can pre-order that at that link as well. Last but certainly not least, BLM, Black Lives Matter, very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Help Now is the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage. coverage and send the message that we will do so in the future with other similar circumstances as well. So quick scheduling note. Tonight is day 18 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. Tomorrow we have the first of 2 sessions, which are going to be in consecutive weekends, of Eberron, Oracle of War, Judgment of Iron, as that campaign has moved into the halfway point. So you'll definitely want to stop by for that. That'll be happening tomorrow at, I believe, 7:30 p.m. is the start time for that. And then we'll be back next week with some Starfield and some stuff like that. So you should definitely join us for a lot more awesome tabletop play. And don't forget, a week from this Tuesday is Halloween, and we will have our special Edgar Allan Poe readings for our Halloween event at night. So that is going to be pretty cool. Also, I should mention, because I just found this out, that I am going to be doing the release stream for Tintin Cigars of the Pharaoh, the Tintin Reporter game, which is coming out and is going to be available on GOG. I'm going to be doing it over on GOG.com's channel, although we don't have an official release date yet. I can officially say that I'm going to be doing the release stream for it because I love Tintin ever since I was a kid. So I am excited to be able to bring that up. And I just thought I'd mention that because I just found that today. But right now we are going to be getting into some more Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. So I am unmuting myself to let the folks know we're ready to go. I am apologizing to them because I'm sure I interrupted somebody without hearing them because I can't hear them. And now I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over to reveal the crew. Oh, wait. Someone has shifted around while I have been gone.
We didn't do anything, I swear.
Wait a minute. Just hang on a second. Okay, there's that.
We were talking about anime and being weeb curious.
We were being weeb. I was being weeb curious.
This is
Beastars
terrible.
is anime then. Okay, I probably watched.
Yes, it is definitely anime.
Yeah,
I watched Akira back when it came out when I was in grad school. Was it Akira? I don't know, the very one of the early ones.
Oh,
okay, there's that.
Cool.
Why is it?
Yeah,
I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why it's doing that. But just a moment.
I'm doubled.
Okay.
I don't.
We'll continue talking about anime.
I'm double your pleasure, double your fun.
Yes. And tonight, playing the role of every character is Toya Kristen Finch.
All right. Hang on just a second. Zach. There we go. All right. Zach is now.
You know
Zach
what
is
I
now
would
officially back. There we go.
What would be so fun is can we maybe someday, this idea just occurred to me, do an Our Vocalist special, but it's the casts of your D&D shows. Like once a year, you just ask your
just the D&D folks
D&D
to come in and do that. I mean, I imagine I could do that. That's easy for you. You're the crossover already, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Everyone that plays D&D has a little bit of voicing character experience.
Absolutely.
I like making stupid voices, so
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's exactly what we do.
Fair enough. Yes, that's true. I was trying to do this when I was I just finished with the first half of my Lord of the Rings course, which mean that I always get to go through some of the orc voices, and I'm a huge fan of doing that. But this was a couple weeks ago when I was still fighting off this very bad cold. And like trying to do let me tell you, Shagrat, right? Like after a while, my voice is like, I was like, I can't do the voice the way I want to do the voice. It was very sad. But in any case, what is not sad is the fact that we have 3 out of 4 here today. I will mention that we have a slight emergency situation with Johnny. Everything's fine, but just something that had to be attended to. He may be able to join us later. We're hoping that he will. If not, the quest for 4 people at once continues. No, it'll be fine. We will get that done certainly in December. But Johnny normally would be playing Titus Littlefoot, and we will talk more about that when necessary. But Johnny will hopefully join us later. In the meantime, let us move on to Toya Kristen Finley, who has just been talking about apparently anime and all these things that I didn't hear before. Toya, it's good to see you. How is life in the universe with you? Can you explain what is the greatest of all anime from your perspective? Like, give us the greatest anime that is the touchstone for all anime for you.
well, first of all, you're going to hate my initial answer because I don't have favorites of anything. That's an incredibly difficult because I like things for different reasons. They make they kind of influence me in a certain way for different reasons.
How about a top 5? Like, don't give me all of them, but like something from top 10
5?
or top 5. Something from your like when you're like, man, this is definitely up there. However, I'm feeling.
Okay, well, people are gonna roll their eyes, but Attack on Titan is pretty phenomenal storytelling.
I've actually heard of that one.
Vinland Saga is even greater, I would say, than Attack on Titan because the character work is just absolutely extraordinary in that one.
Okay.
Let's see. If you've never seen, I'll throw a movie in there, and do not watch this movie under any certain circumstances while you are in a good mood. Is Grave of the Fireflies.
Okay.
Which is just soul crushing.
Familiar.
It is absolutely soul crushing.
See, a friend of mine introduced me when I was young. He's like, all right, you got to check out this anime. And he showed me Legend of the Overfiend. And I'm here to tell you that a 15-year-old watching Legend of the Overfiend is not, that's not how you want people. That's not what you want your first impression of anime to be. It's, it's something.
I guess the very first anime I ever watched, and this was when I discovered anime was a thing. I don't even remember what the 2 shows were called in Japan, but here they were morphed into one.
Okay.
And it was Robotech. It was Macross and something else. That Robotech does not exist in Japan.
Okay.
And I remember I was like 6 or 7 years old when I first saw it on UHF. That's how far back we're going. And I watched it one day, and I watched it again the next day, and the world didn't reset. And that blew my mind because I was used to, like, you watch a sitcom or a drama or whatever, and the world resets. And the world didn't reset. And it was like the stories that I had in my head that were continuations.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like, wow, this exists.
That's cool.
And thus my love of anime was born.
I'm waiting for Rising Tides to burst through Kool-Aid Man style and be like, have you heard about Kamen Rider? Because let me explain how that too doesn't reset, even though anyway.
You mean Moomin Rider? Or Moomin Rider from One Punch?
Be careful. Anything which even suggests an issue with. Anyway, Toya, it's good to see you. Who are you playing this evening?
I will be playing Nulz Darkly, a human bard. Her name is also Nalik, but she goes by Nulz.
Yes, and who is deeply suspicious of fungi for reasons we will discuss.
That squishy nonsense looking up at you.
Yep.
Don't trust it.
I can't blame you. Who knows where those roots go? I agree. But it is a pleasure to have Toya with us. It's also a pleasure to have Kat with us, checking in with us before jetting off to Europe and the castle that awaits them. So I'm glad that you've decided to slum it with all of us, Kat, for just a bit before going to the top of that tower. No, I'm sure it's going to be exciting. Are you? I guess the question is, are you prepared, but like, how fired up, I guess, are you for this? And who are you playing tonight?
Oh, I'm excited because I do love Spain and the country and the food and the people, and so I'm very happy to be going back for a while. I am playing Fob, who is a lizard folk rogue with a great many daggers.
That is true, and whose penchant for being able to remain in the shadows may come into play coming soon, as we'll discuss. But always a pleasure to have Kat with us, and also a pleasure to have the amazing Zach Clay with us as well. Zach, it's good to see you. And yeah, I guess how are things going with you in between the 70 million professional commitments that you have into various endeavors and things? How's life in the universe with you, and who are you playing tonight?
Life in the universe is good. I've been there's a very sort of long-standing and awesome roleplay community in World of Warcraft, and I've played that for a long time. WoW was the way I got introduced to the voiceover industry, voicing for that game, and so I've been back playing that game recently. And then, of course, I'm sure you guys have heard of the merger where Microsoft purchased Blizzard.
Yep.
So now World of Warcraft and all those games are going to be under there. We're all very excited and nervous to see how that helps or harms the industry. But
the new realm, Redmond, where you can find it.
We'll see. Or what levels of crossover. I don't know. Master Chief showing up in World of Warcraft.
Oh
or something.
No.
But anyway, so I've been engaging with that community because there's people out there on one particular like server that you will go in a city in World of Warcraft, and there are roughly about 500 people that are role playing their characters in real time,
Yeah.
GMless, and it's crazy just walking around the city, ambiently doing stuff. So I've been enjoying that in my free time. In between, yes, all the other professional random things that I'm doing. My San Francisco D&D program out in the Civic Center of San Francisco starts back up in November as well. And that's about it. So exciting new things. And I am playing tonight Dr. Jaraxxus, who is a Dendis cybermancer and a alien celebrity. That's me.
That is true. An alien influencer, even. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. Also, at the break, chat, please stick around because I will be making an announcement within which Zach will be prominently featured regarding an upcoming event. So we will talk more about that later. But now it is time to talk a little bit about what happened, and I'm sure that Kat will be of interest to find out why it is that Fob was sacrificed to the Elder Gods. I mean, why? That's just kidding. But let's talk a little bit about that by setting up some music. And I want to use for this a soundscape which I have not had reason to use before, but I'm going to use it now. Recently, Greenforge Studios, that are the ones that provided this, stopped in to say hello, and I had not seen them for a while, and I'm bringing them up because I have a bit of music from them. There we go. Because it's way too loud, sorry. No, I really want it to go down. Yep, there we go, much better. This is the forest setting, which seems reasonable because the party is in the mysterious land of Wormwood. In the last adventure, in the last session, the party dealt with what could have been a very tricky, but they handled it with their usual aplomb, bandit ambush, and managed to not only escape the bandit ambush by destroying the people who attacked them, but also by taking a captive, Canner, who journeyed with them to the boundaries of Wormwood, having decided that it was likely to be better because he was a dead man if he went back to the bandit leader, Gruick, anyway. The party elected not to try to go after the bandit because they felt that they had other fish to fry. Specifically, they had to get on to Celis, where they hoped to be able to find Elu Whisperwind's parents, who may be able to help. Now, Celis is a very strange land, and getting there is done in a strange way as well, using a portal which can be found at the heart of Wormwood. The problem was that as the party went to this place, they found that they were not alone here, that there were, in fact, other people guarding that place. First, they were pelted by acorns, pine cones, and stones of various types from creatures that were all around them. They managed to run and make it out of that place, but it sort of suggested that maybe there were some issues that they had to deal with. And then they found this mysterious figure, who I have just put on the screen, known as apparently the Lady of the Blood. She introduced herself to them as this person who is the leader of Wormwood, as the sort of guardian of Wormwood. But as I described it on stream, she is not either alone. She was sitting on a throne, I suppose you could call it, fashioned from the gnarled trunk of a tree. But surrounding the throne in a semicircle were 6 8-foot-tall metal capsules with thick steel cables snaking from the bottom of each capsule across the filthy ground and into the rear of the throne. And as near as the party was able to figure it out, these things had creatures inside of them, possibly even people, the blood of which is apparently feeding this throne and keeping the person on the throne alive. I mentioned to Kat earlier that this is one of the things that made me think it might be up Kat's alley. Something about it just seemed to fit some of the writing style that you might appreciate. But anyway, and right at the end of our session, after the party was coming to grips with all of this, the party said, the Lady of Blood said that she would allow them to pass into the portal and into Celis simply if they provided a sacrifice, one that she said they could afford, specifically a vial of their blood. And using that vial, if they're willing to sacrifice it, she would allow them to pass and would also have one of the, what she refers to as friends, or excuse me, guests, be released from these 6. So there's 6 of these things, and every vial of blood that the party wishes to sacrifice, she will release another one of these guests, and then will permit the party to go on its way to the portal. And that was where we ended the session, and so now I hand things back over to the party to ask, what would the party like to do? What sacrifices are in all of your futures if you would like to do something like this?
So, before we make any potential offerings or discussions, Johnny's wishes, as far as we were aware, was to check on the condition of the people in the pods. Is that right, Toya?
Yeah, Johnny would want to make sure, Titus, being a doctor, would want to make sure that those people are okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any way that, like, I still have an older version of Titus's sheet. I don't think he has any particular ability, like, sense condition or something, but
does not could maybe make a medicine check, depending. Now, the question also is how you're certainly able to walk up to the capsules. You don't know, or Titus would be able to. Probably do not know whether the Lady of the Blood would actually let you touch them. I should say, for Fob's benefit, or for Kat's benefit, not having been here last time, that these capsules are cylindrical in shape. There's a large crystalline panel on the front, and each capsule is filled with this viscous liquid, which looks very much like blood. And the blood is bubbling and churning as if it's being pumped through these cables. So it's... I mean, that's the stuff that you can see from a distance. So could make a medicine check, but whether you'd be allowed to get close enough to touch the panel, that you'd have to see.
Could I have, as one of my roguish abilities, the ability to make an investigation to uncover or decipher clues? Is there anything, can I just, I want to look at her and see, I don't think she's telling all of the truth.
So side note, sidebar, that investigation thing is going to be super important in the next part of this if you can get past her. Okay. Back to this, though. What you're talking about is an insight check, I think. An insight check into what she's asking you to do. So I think you could definitely do that and get a sense of whether she's being upfront with you. Okay. So I would say insight.
Okay.
What we were looking for here.
And then
20.
Oh, wow. Not bad.
Great.
You would say, Fob, I don't want to say from your naturally suspicious nature, but perhaps there's an element of that. You would say that she's probably telling you the truth in that she would eventually let you go to the portal and would free one of her guests. You don't know that she's being fully forthright about what the sacrifice would involve. Her quote was, this is something you can afford to give up. Her version of what she thinks you can afford to give up and what you can may be different. So it's not so much that she's lying. It's that she has, what she tells you is true from a certain point of view, to quote a certain space wizard.
So I'm just going to kind of talk to my friends and say, Fob is not giving blood. This is not happening. I don't think any of us should.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I don't trust what she wants with it.
Yes, do we know what I think she said it helps her maintain her life.
It's some sort of magic. You know how that stuff goes.
Jaraxxus will... I guess we should finish with Titus. So could Titus... I hope that this won't put Titus in danger. I don't get the vibe that this woman's just going to lurch out and attack for no reason, but
My cylinders.
Yeah, and we have Titus, and he's so small and innocent. Like, can Titus just
Cute.
sort of waddle up to one of the cylinders and just look up into it at one of the people to make that medicine check?
Go ahead and try. Let's see what she says. Oh, and also just to note your other two companions that are with you. Gamork has been sort of low growling through much of this, and is kind of a little bit behind you. And Elu is very much hands wrapped around the hilt of the sword, Fellowship of the Ring film, Aragorn around the hilt of the sword looking at Boromir style, like very much in the this person is straight up a problem, and all that kind of thing. She is not attacked or anything, but clearly Elu is very on edge about this person, so for what that's worth. But yes, you can try to waddle up, have Titus waddle up and see.
Okay. Now we need to decide if each of our characters were a Fellowship of the Ring character, who would be who.
Who's Boromir? Who's
Frodo? Anyway, all right, here we go.
Gamork, obviously.
Yeah, Gamork is Frodo. All right, that's an 18 medicine.
Okay. So, first of all, it's clear that these creatures that are in there, and they do look like a few of them are actually they're humanoid, that they're alive in some sense. What sense that is uncertain, and you can't tell whether you're looking at like thrashing from pain or whether it's more just kind of they almost look like they're in a trance or like a dreamlike state within that, within those cylinders. And Triffid points out that in the last session, the characters had discovered that the people in these tubes were potentially tricked into agreeing to be part of this, that they also had, quote, given a sacrifice, although they wanted greater power than that. One of them claimed, supposedly a wizard, that wanted the greatest of all power, whereas it sounds like all you're asking for is to free them, if you're going to do this, is to free them and to get to the portal. But regardless, definitely you get the impression that Titus gets the impression they're alive. In what state they're alive is unsure.
Well, I should say Titus probably wants to free them. I don't know about the rest of us.
That's fair. That's fair. That's why I know Fob does not, but
and is it obvious, just asking a last question about Titus's analysis there, when looking at their faces and the kinds of convulsing that these people are doing, are their faces twisted in agony? Or does it just seem to be this sort of indiscernible REM sleep that may or may not be
more the latter?
Good or okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Jaraxxus will turn to his friends and say, I have something in mind that I could offer her that isn't blood. But I also just don't think this is the kind of person that we should be dealing with at all.
What do you have that you can offer her that she would think was blood?
No, not that she would think is blood. An alternative to us giving blood. Instead, I would give something else that might have equivalent value.
I think it would be interesting to see how she reacted to that bargain.
I think we should all try to get out of here without giving anything of ourselves.
And Elu says, I agree. What could you possibly give this thing? She says in low voiced, but like lot of tension.
Well, let's see what she says. Hello again. Sorry for us talking off on the side there. So you want our blood, but I have a different idea. So I noticed that these tools that you have at your disposal are, a bit of magitech about them, but also certain natural elements being here in the forest. I like it. It's very suiting. So I being talented with Magitech myself, have the aptitude to create a small familiar, or a drone, some might call it, a little thing that could follow me around. And I am known for letting people see things, recording memories. So my potential offer to you is, instead of us giving our blood, maybe there is some way I could make a drone for you, and that when we go on our travels to wherever we are going, maybe I can rig something so that you can look through this drone and see the rest of the world. Because I'm sure you spend all your time in this forest, you might be curious to know what happens in, I don't know, Cambria, or the valley to the north, or, I don't know, maybe you have old friends you want to say hi to. So, what do you think? I make a little drone that is infused with your essence or something, and do a local, a LAN party to let you look through it.
And she smiles. I should have mentioned before, again, for Kat's benefit, her eyes are these like lusterless black orbs. And as she kind of stares at you, she has this slightest smile, and she says, "It is lovely to hear that you wish for me to see elsewhere, and really charming for you to believe that I don't already have ways of doing that. You see, nature runs through much of this world, more every day. So my vision is quite distant and quite deep and quite unreliant on your technology. No, I do not need metal and robots. What I need is the lifeblood of the forest and those who maintain it of their own free will." And she kind of, her hand drifts down and just sort of lightly caresses one of the tubes that's kind of connected to the throne.
Well, if you are connected to nature and its great bounty and power, why do you need anything from us?
And she kind of pauses and says, "It is not what I need, but what I want."
And why do you want it? If we're to give you something of ourselves, of our very essence, we should at least be clear about why.
It is a trade. A portion of something you can afford to give in exchange for the freeing of one of these guests and passage to the portal you seek. It is a trade, a transaction, perhaps you might have called it. That is
But
why.
we have not asked for one of the guests. We just seek passage. Why do you want us to have one of your guests accompany us?
If you wish simply to give this blood so you can pass through to the portal and keep your guests, or might keep my guests here, I have no objection. I thought it was a bonus. But feel free to leave them where they are. I quite enjoy my decorations. Fob, you were going to say something before, I think.
I am going to make an insight check that goes against her deception check.
Okay.
If I succeed, then should action break out, I will be able to use sneak attack. I'm just kind of being prepped for that.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and do that.
Motherfucker. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that on
That was an understandable, I think, in that
Yeah,
situation.
no, it's all right.
So you're kind of like, and she's just like, she kind of smiles at you. You find, Fob, that, you have, I'm really trying not to do the, you were born to the shadows, I was made, like the Bane Batman thing. You have the sense, you lived much of your life coming from the shadows and back into them when needed, and that sort of thing. There's something deeply disturbing about someone that feels like they themselves are the shadow. Like there's a darkness inside this creature that is very troubling, and it's kind of hard to get your head around you're just sort of fascinated by whatever this darkness swirling inside her is. Except that you get very clearly, even with that, a bad news, type of thing.
I am just prepping to back up.
Okay.
Elihu, basically, is what I'm planning, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Jaraxxus will turn to his friends and say, and actually turn back to her and say, "Oh, all right. Can we have a moment to discuss to ourselves, if you wouldn't mind?"
You may take the time you wish. I will sit and enjoy the experience of life pulsing through me.
And she's still sitting on the throne.
Yeah, she kind of leans back slightly. You almost get the sense, Jaraxxus, as she leans back, that perhaps it's just her imagination. It almost seems like the throne is accommodating her. Like it almost like slightly, gives with her weight as she leans back and just does this.
You described last time that there are like wires that are
cables
feeding
from each of the 6 of these cylinders feeding into the throne. Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
So as the group comes together, Nalls
Right.
looks at everybody very intensely and says, "Listen to me very carefully. This is all I'm going to say. Focus on my words. She is all about connections."
Okay. But what do we do with that information? Wait, is this some sort of secret code?
It's not a code, but the connections.
Oh, right. See, if you ask me, this sort of being does not seem like it's doing a good for the world here, and I'm kind of just ready to go for it. But I wish we had some way of knowing if that is a bad idea. Usually it's a bad idea, but we have, and I gesture to us, and Elu, and a direwolf. I'm like, we got the good crew, but
I think giving up our blood would be higher on the list of bad ideas than, say,
I agree. And just
what I'm proposing. Anyway,
does anyone have any idea a way of testing how strong she is without actually us having to attack her, like making it seem like something else has arrived here? I can't create illusions, but
let me greet you with the traditional arm wrestling gestures of my people.
Or that.
So I've got a question as we're actually talking. Are there any of those mushroom clusters around here that we saw earlier?
Not here, interestingly, no. You're not sure why, but no, there were not in this area. You don't know why that is.
I think maybe we just go for it. And if,
Let's I'm catching Elihu's eye and trying to convey.
Yeah, Elu has come over, actually, and has said, Elu's listened in and says, I don't know that any of us can we shouldn't give gifts to this thing, but... And she kind of pauses and stares at the cylinders, and she says, she has some control over these things. If we attack, she may easily kill one or all of them, instead of them at least being alive here. And we still have my parents to get to. As important as this is, if I go to my parents, I can tell them of what's happened here. I can have someone come back through the portal and try to address her. I don't want to give her anything, but I also don't want to sacrifice these creatures, and she cylinders, and who knows whether she could control anything else around here. She looks very sort of like I guess I would say torn would be the best way to describe it.
I don't think she's going to let us go past without giving her blood. And I think giving her blood is the wrong choice. And Bob does not entirely believe that we owe anything to these people. We have made no promises to them to save them. This is the way of the world sometimes. But we will try to rescue them if we can. But if it's a choice between giving blood or not giving blood, I am firmly on the side of the latter.
Well, if it as she says, and they all wanted greatness in exchange, I would say that they may not be trusted either.
True.
Draxus says, I have one more thing to try. As I'm digging through my bags, I pull out, as I was looking through my inventory, I pull out and I quote, handheld projector that we got on this journey that projects an image of a woman and a baby. It was when we met that ghost kid, but we didn't think that the ghost kid and the woman and the baby were connected necessarily. But it was like you described it like a little disc that just projects this weird image of a woman and a child. So I'll produce that. I'll leave the group and approach her and say, we found this on the way here, by the way. Do you know who these people are? And I'll make it project the image.
And she kind of looks and... I do not. Are they visitors to my realm? Do you know where they are?
No.
And unfortunate. Perhaps if they come my way, we can make an arrangement.
Right. Where is the Realm's Gate, by the way?
In a safe place.
Right. Okay. And I scuttle back to the group. Yes, I think, I am concerned about her hurting these people. Something tells me, too, that us making some disconnections, I say as I look at Malik, I don't know if that will release them or kill the people, or both.
At this point, release and death may be the same thing.
Yes, they may be very unhappy.
And Draxus says, my vote is, I don't think she... How Elu, how far away is Celis? Let's say, not worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is we all die. But next worst case scenario, but sort of also good, is we win this fight, but then we can't find or activate the Realm's Gate.
And she nods and she says, yes, if we can't find the gate, there's only one other way in, and it's exceedingly more dangerous. There is a thing called the Vein. It's a massive tunnel that leads beneath the Wormspire Mountains, but it's been long since any of my people have used it, and I have no idea what would await us down there. It's possible that it doesn't even go all the way anymore, that it's been blocked off, and that's the only other option. It's not that close by, but it's also not a certain method.
All right. Well, we have an option, at least. My vote is... I don't know, I think at the very least we should try to mean, maybe poetic justice would be releasing all these people and seeing what they have to say about her. But the only way to do that is to force her to. And the only way to do that... And I, activate in my hand a little version of the sprite beam. All random text, getting ready to... And I do have an ability to command someone to do something. But I can only command them with one word. That's how we could start. I could say, release. Or I could say, walk. And if she gets up from the throne, then Titus goes and sits in it. I don't know. Or one of us. It's very inconvenient that she's just letting us strategize over here. This is great.
It is very convenient.
She seems very unconcerned.
Well, that makes me feel happy.
What do we think?
I basically, Fob's take on this is that at some point we're going to set her off and combat's going to ensue. So Fob is just kind of getting placed for that.
Nulls is as well. Because it seems to be no options beyond giving her what she wants. And we're not willing to do that.
Question, do you think, by the way, that Titus would be willing to do that if Titus is the one concerned about freeing them or not? And I'm just throwing that out there.
Last session, Titus, and actually Elu as well, were kind of like, well, okay, what do we get if you give blood? Because Elu was kind of like, I just want to get on with it and leave. And Titus was kind of like, well, I don't trust her, but if this is what we have to do, and if it frees somebody who is obviously being held captive, then that might be the way to go. I don't know how suspicious Titus would be now, or if Titus would kind of go along with the group.
I think, who knows how quickly this sort of stuff will go. Maybe Titus would... I don't know. I think my proposal for what Titus would do is if combat goes down, maybe Titus would still be by the tanks, even during this time while we're, spotting. Titus is still like looking up at the people and being all innocent and everything. Mm-hmm. Maybe when combat breaks out, Titus's utmost concern would be the people in the pods, and then also us. And if things go really bad, then Titus just plays, battlefield medic rather than, being on the offensive. Like if we all get ganked, then Titus is like, well, I just tried to heal people. I'm sorry. I don't know. So I don't think he would necessarily try to stop us, but I don't think he would be the main aggressor.
Okay. I'll leave that up to you.
So, all right. So Jaraxxus will turn back, and the group, I presume, will, walk back into the glade, and Jaraxxus says, We appreciate the deals that you're trying to make, but none of us are willing to give you our blood, unfortunately.
And she shakes her head and she says, "It is unfortunate. It is such a simple thing. And now you will not be able to find your portal. I am sorry. I had hoped we could come to some arrangement. But you are welcome to wander through the forest if you wish, and if you wish, leave my realm entirely. That is, of course, up to you. Perhaps whatever you were trying to find in the city of Celis was not of importance anyway." And she gives this dazzling smile.
It is very important, though, actually, and
Then perhaps your blood would be an important thing. Not as important as your task, even, but important enough to provide the key. Just one vial would do.
Or you could just show us where the realm gate is and let us be on our way.
I could, but I won't.
Well, that's a very... I'll walk towards her. And
as, by the way, as you're walking towards her, like her gaze, her dark orbed gaze just fixes on you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that that sort of her, this sort of ruby red lips that sets off these dark eyes just kind of bores into you with her gaze.
Jaraxxus will walk towards the throne and will, stand maybe 5 feet out from her,
mm-hmm.
and very slowly pulls out the combat knife from his pack and holds it to his palm. And he turns back to his friends and says, "All right, if none of us will do it." And as he raises the combat knife, as if he's about to slash his own hand,
okay,
he will look at her and cast command and say, It sucks only having to use one word. Okay, he'll cast command and say, stand.
Stand. Okay. What's the DC?
13.
And so she sort of looks at you, and she slowly stands up and then says, "So unfortunate, but also amusing," and dissolves into a pool of blood, literally in front of you. Just, and the blood flows into the throne. The capsules begin to thrash, like almost sort of shake back and forth as the creatures inside them go. And I would like initiative checks for everybody, please. And let's fire up some combat.
Oh, God. She's gonna do. I know what she's gonna do. Oh, God. Oh, no. Look at these initiatives.
Oh, I forgot to put up the turn order. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Everyone's just like,
Was that your attempt at starting this, Dragus?
I didn't get that. Do we go or
It's an 11 for me, and for Titus. Oh, whoops.
Okay, let's see.
I think I'm dead last.
Fobs with a 5, Nulls with a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, sorry, that's a 8 for me instead. I subtract 1 instead of add 2.
Okay. You still have your 5 temp, Jaraxxus, or no?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, because I...
Also, I have Fob with 2 temp, but I don't know if that's still... That might have gone by now. I think
that was from...
gone by now.
Malik's
okay.
inspiration thing, probably become.
Okay. So, let's see.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
And Bob's got... Or sorry, Titus has got amazing dexterity.
Okay, let's see. So I see. Did you roll? So Jaraxxus, is that you had an 11? I'm confused about what these two rolls are.
So the first one was 11, but I added the wrong thing. So Jaraxxus's initiative is actually 9.
Is 9? Okay.
Or sorry, 8.
8. Okay, and then Titus
is 11.
Titus is 11. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So. Oh, and I should probably see what the bad guys are. That'll be useful.
No, God.
Let's see. I mean, that's assuming there were bad guys.
Yeah.
You know,
she's like amusing, and she dissolves in the throne's like, you know what? Let me release all these people and let them go. And big change of heart.
It's like, I was amused and also have seen the error of my ways. And thanks to your attacking me with your knife.
You know, all I needed to do was just stand, you know?
I realized that the stand, you're right. We all need to stand, don't we? Don't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah, none of that happens.
Against weird forest blood witches.
Okay. It's very appropriate that all the adventures that I've run this month have been very Halloween-y in feel. It wasn't what I planned, but it's nice that it came out that way. Okay. Right. First to act, actually, is Gamork, who was considerably more suspicious than all of you. And Gamork kind of leaps forward. And I'm pretty sure at this point, Niles, that your Speak with Animals has expired with him, because I think coming into this, I'm pretty sure. So instead, Gamork just kind of growls. He looks extremely annoyed with all of you, but that's what Gamork always looks like. So he kind of puts his hackles are up, his ears are back, and he kind of looks like he's ready to spring, and he's staring at the semicircle of 6 metal cylinders. He may be what we call in the business readying an action. That's going to lead us to Elu, who also rolled better than all of you. And sting, sword is out. And she says, I had a feeling this was not going to be a good idea. And she waits and is again staring at the 6 cylinders, basically for the same reason. Which is going to lead us to Titus is up next. The cylinders are still rocking back and forth. Nothing has happened yet beyond that.
All right. And so if Titus was standing in front of the cylinders and the wires go from the back of the throne, behind the throne to the cylinders, would he have seen some sort of, I imagine, like a channeling of energy as she was siphoned into the throne?
Unquestionably a surge of blood in each of those, or a surge of something in each of those cylinders. Okay. But they look like I say, they look like they're rocking back and forth.
Would Titus be under the impression, looking at them, that the surge has finished, and would there be any use to him going up to one of these cables and trying to disconnect it somehow?
I mean, impossible. That it doesn't look like the surge is finished. These are big, thick cables, so you don't know how easy it would be to disconnect them. You could certainly try. Titus could certainly try. Has no way of knowing if the surge has ended. I mean, this only happened like 5-6 seconds ago, so it seems like it's ongoing.
Got it. Titus does have an ability called Electrical Surge.
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now to see what it does. Hold on, okay. Let me scroll to the end of the core manual. All right. Okay. So Electrical Surge. Let's see if that would help us in this situation. My Adobe Acrobat is freaking out right now. It's having its own electrical surge at this moment. Okay. Like, my PDF is literally flashing. It's crazy. Okay. Electrical surge. There it is. You launch a spike of surging electricity towards a target. It gains no benefit from cover. Takes 1d8 lightning damage.
He also has a laser, right?
Yeah, laser blast. Yeah. I just, is there any check that Titus could make as part of this action to tell if, in our familiarity with Magitech, would this be the kind where adding electricity would cause it to overload and have a good thing? Or
he is not familiar. None of you are familiar with this particular technology. Yes, I mean, some machines can overload because of electricity. This is some weird combination, though, of mechanical and organic, and you don't know what sort of way. This isn't quite as traditional as what you would expect from on board a ship where you could overload something. Maybe, but you also just saw a lady dissolve into a pool of blood and then go into the throne. So, you're a little bit outside your depth, honestly.
All right. I think we'll try it. I'm going to use Electrical Surge. So I make a ranged forging attack against a target.
Okay. And you're using it against a cylinder or against the throne or against what?
We'll say against one of the wires.
Okay, one of the
6
cables.
wires.
Okay.
One of the cables, yeah.
Okay.
So here we...
Which
we
one,
go.
by the way? You got a semicircle, right? So 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6. 6 would be all the way to the eastern side. 1 would be all the way to the western side. There a particular one you want to aim for? I don't actually. The one he's in front of, maybe, which I don't know which one that was.
Yeah,
honestly.
I imagined he would have been on the west side in my mind's eye.
Okay.
So
West
we'll
side?
say number one. We'll say number 1.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Against the wires AC. Oh, that's a 23 to hit.
Okay. Surprisingly, wire is not very agile.
Great, and that's 3 points of lightning damage.
Okay. The lightning hits, surges into the cable and rebounds as if it has been like mirrored back. So, in fact, Titus is going to take 3 points of damage, electrical damage, and is going to fall back. And you hear from somewhere, like all around you and nowhere at once, a this bizarre cackling laugh.
Great. Cool. Awesome.
That didn't work.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, no, that's all he'll do, and I think Titus will approach the throne.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna have him sit in it necessarily. I'll just have him be next to it.
Okay.
And that's Titus, I think.
All right. That's going to lead us to Dr. Jaraxxus is up next.
Okay. Jaraxxus is going to... Oh, boy. Interesting. I guess I'll save that. All right, I think Jaraxxus is going to do the same thing. It's going to follow Titus's lead and is going... Oh, but you would see it reflect back. Jaraxxus is going to... Does the throne look like it has like needles or holes or anything obvious? Like, does he
not
see
just from a
contraption
cursory glance, but you have not had a chance to do, with her not sitting on it, a full perception or investigation to kind of see more details.
Jaraxxus will reach a hand out and touch the throne.
Okay. When you reach out and touch the throne, nothing happens, but your hand comes away feeling slick.
I look at my hand.
It is coated with some kind of substance. Perhaps blood.
Is it the color of blood?
It is not the color of normal oxygenated blood. It is kind of a, almost a sickly greenish kind.
Is it kind of the same liquid that's in the tanks?
Possibly, but it almost feels, if you had to describe it, it's sort of like a mix between blood and sap.
Okay.
From a tree.
That makes me feel better.
Okay. Right. I'm glad to hear it.
Oh god. Yeah, okay, Jaraxxus is going to back up and is going to shoot his sprite beam at the throne itself.
Okay.
And hope that doesn't reflect back.
Okay, go ahead and make.
So here we go.
Go ahead and make your range channeling, I believe, or forging.
15.
Yep, thrown also fairly non-dexterous.
5 points of force.
Okay,
against
so this does not reflect. Neither, though, does it seem to do a whole lot. It hits it, and there's kind of a rumbling in the tree. And you hear again this maniacal, high, cackling laughter from somewhere. Doesn't reflect back at you, but it doesn't seem to do a whole lot to the throne.
I mean, does it look like it took damage at all?
No. But that doesn't mean it didn't. It may just be that it's super strong. But it does not look like it took any damage, no.
All right.
Not what you would have expected. You're staying where you are, Jaraxxus, having moved up and touched
I'll
it?
Back up. I'll back up a little bit, so that I'm still within 40 feet of the cylinders.
Okay.
And within 40 feet of my friends, kind of in the middle, I guess.
Okay.
And I'll call back and say, "Get ready for a fight." I expect the cylinders to pop open or something.
I love the song, Drew. Okay. Before Fob can go, who would be next up, the rumbling from the cylinders has gotten more extreme, and suddenly Titus, I guess, who would be the closest, sees little spider cracks down the front of the crystalline panels, and then push, and each cylinder bursts outwards in a shower of glass and gore. And coming out of the cylinders, stepping out of them, dripping liquid, and it's not a pleasant liquid, are what look like probably Jaraxxus and Titus would not have seen anything like this, but Fob and Nulls, you might have seen something like goblins, but these are goblins out of a nightmare. They are bloated and dull coppery red, and as they come towards you, grinning hideously, you can see blood dripping from them, and they charge out at the party. Now, before anything happens, I should say that there were a couple of readied actions from your companions ready to go. So Gamork is going to leap at one of them close by, and is going to hit one. That's good. Is going to hit one of them. Oh wow, Gamork is not happy. Is going to really, really bite one of them. And when he does, the goblin gives off this hideous sort of choking cry, and Gamork is like chomping down on his neck, so you'd expect to see blood, but instead far more blood than should be the case spills out of this creature based on the wound that was just done, and Gamork sort of roars and growls in pain, and you can see that his fur seems to be hissing as if from acid. Creature also that he's attacked is still alive, or whatever this is. But Elu, in the meantime, has also stepped forward and is going to try to do the same thing to the same creature, knowing the value of stacking damage, and is going to attempt to bring her sword down upon this blood goblin, for want of a better term, but is not going to hit it, and misses and sort of swears, and she, like, you can see her face is wrinkled in disgust even as she's looking at these things. Okay, those were the readied actions. In the meantime, the 5 other ones that are not being kind of occupied by a wolf and Elu are going to charge at all of you. One for each of you. That works nicely. So, all right. First one is going to attack Titus. And let's see. Oh, geez, that's a terrible miss. That is an 8, which I don't think is going to get the job done.
No.
Okay. One is going to attack Nulls. That might, though. 17 against your AC, Nulls.
Where do I find my AC on here?
Should be top left, right of the sheet?
Yeah. Kind of the top middle. It's a big shield icon that says armor class.
Oh, yeah, it's 13.
Okay. So that is going to hit. So 2 things. So basically what it does is it rakes across your body with its blood-soaked claws. And goblins are not known for having these long nailed claws, but these blood goblins do. Okay. So you are going to take... Oh, that was quite a hit. You are going to take 8 points of damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please, Nulls. As you were scratched, clawed by this thing.
Okay, it is not rolling. Oh, there we go. That's not going to do it.
Is that... So, well, it doesn't matter in this case, probably, but I think that was just a con check, but there's a saving throw. It doesn't matter in this regard. So, okay. Nulls, you feel your basically your, if I can describe this a certain way, your interior of your body begins to feel hot. Specifically, the veins of your body feel as if they are pulsing hot liquid through them. You have been, for mechanical terms, poisoned. And what poison means in this context is that you are going to be... One second. Okay. You are going to have disadvantage on all attack rolls and ability checks until you were able to get rid of this poison somehow. You may be able to make a Constitution saving throw under certain conditions, but right now you are poisoned by this dread thing. Okay, so we will, as you all conjure with that.
Yeah. And there's a way for you on your character sheet, Malik. You can kind of in the top right. Do you see where it says conditions right under your hit points? So you can click that, and where it says add active conditions, and you're going to add poisoned. Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's see. One attacked Titus and missed terribly. One attacked Nulls and did not miss terribly. Okay, one for Fob and one for Jaraxxus. So the one that's on Fob, that's an 11, which I don't think does it, right, Fob?
That is a miss.
Okay, so you dodge out of the way of this terrible bloated thing. And a 7 on the one on Jaraxxus. Blah. Okay. Now, there's one extra goblin, and that's left over. 4 for all of you, 1 dealing with Gamork and Elu. And so let's see which of the 6 of you it is going to go after. Let's see. We're going to make Gamork 1, Elu 2, Titus 3, Nulls 4, Fob 5, Jaraxxus 6. And I will roll this. 2, which I think I said was... Who did I say 2 was?
That's
2,
Elu, isn't it?
2 was Elu, yep, okay. So this other one is going to attempt to attack Elu. And is going to just miss. Not a great attack round for them. Which I'm sure you're all terribly disappointed about. But it did hit Nulls, and that sucked badly enough. Okay, that's going to lead us to Fob is up next, and then Nulls is on deck. Fob, what would you like to do?
I am going to first shoot this thing.
Okay. Can you specify the thing that's on you, I assume?
The thing that is attacking me.
Yeah, okay. Logical.
But no, if it's attacking me, I'm going to hit it with my short sword.
Yeah, because it's right on top of you, so...
Oops, I'm sorry. I keep trying to close something, and it there we go.
That's okay.
Nice.
Ooh, look at that. Yes, that is definitely a hit. That is quite a blow. Okay, so that strikes it, and you think it looks very... it's hard to know like what close to death means, but it looks very much like it's like, you know, kind of like retching around. But in the process of doing that, it spews out this gore on you, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me, Fob, to avoid being hit by this stuff. Also, a quick note for Titus, for everybody. These creatures... ooh, he's 6. That is... Yeah, that's not going to do it, I'm afraid, Fob. All right, you are going to take an additional... Oh, not too bad. An additional 2 points. So you're going to take 2 points here of what feels like acid damage, like corrosive damage from the blood on your scales. Very weird, and not the way that blood is supposed to work. Quick note that for Titus, who saw this, these creatures did not start out looking this way inside the cylinders.
Yeah.
They were something else. So they have been transformed into this thing, whatever these are.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Fob, where are you going to move anywhere? You don't really have... I mean, I guess you could try to disengage. You can't just immediately hide with the thing staring at you, but...
I am going to try to disengage.
Okay. You can definitely do that. You can step back 5 feet, maybe trying to brush off your scales. Can you hide as a bonus action? I don't remember if you're able to do that.
Let me take a look at my bonus action.
At level 3.
I do not think
It would be cunning action. I'm pretty sure you can.
Oh, wait, no, it is cunning. Yes, I can. I
Okay.
can take a bonus action for dash, disengage, or hide.
So you... okay. So you can't
So
do
I
both.
disengage.
You can disengage as a bonus action. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to hide on top of it. And you definitely can't hide when you're right next to it. So unfortunately, not you're one action short of doing that. But we'll talk about what you're able to do unless they jump forward, but we'll talk about that next. Okay. Nalik, you are the only one so far that has been hit initially by this thing, and it is right in your grill, as they say, facing you down.
So I want to know if I can try something before I cast Thunderclap.
What do you got?
So, Nalik is concerned about the network and, how everything in the forest is connected.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's going to try to affect everything with sound, like really cacophonous sound.
Okay.
She has a yarting, and so like making like a really shrill noise with the yarting and like stomping her foot. So like strumming and stomping at the same time to create like this really obnoxious frequency.
Okay.
And also like screeching at the same time. So like it's creating this frequency that kind of rumbles underground and also throughout the forest as she's doing it.
Presumably this might also affect your compatriots, though?
Well, I mean, it would be going underground, like the stomping and the frequency going underground.
Okay.
Wouldn't be affecting them, would it? Like the roots and things.
No, I see what you're saying. Probably not. I'm trying to decide, though. This feels like a standard action to me, like a full action to do this. It's a very cool action, but it would preclude you, I think, from doing a combat maneuver after that. You could still move, but I would say if you're going to do this is a full like standard action to try.
Okay, well, I would try that and then disengage.
Okay.
Because attacking these things ends up in splash damage.
And so maybe you want to do the opposite, right? Like disengage and then do this. Like
okay,
presumably,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Let's do that. Disengage and then try this.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. You can step back and start doing this sort of rumbling, uncomfortable feeling, and you can sort of feel it below your feet. You don't see any outward reaction yet, but you've just started doing it, so we'll see. It may have an effect at a later point. Okay, you still are not in a position to make a saving throw yet to this poison. That brings us up to the top of the round, where our good friend Gamork has been dealing with this goblin that he struck, and wow, he did not come to play. He is hit it for, again, a lot. Yep. Wow. He he was not having any of it. He just bites into this thing. And basically I hate to be incredibly gross, just sort of like blood everywhere. It collapses and is dead, and he again roars as he feels the burn of whatever this, splash damage, as we say, of this blood actually is. But the one that is on him is dead, so now there are only 5 of these things left. That is going to lead us to Elu, who immediately turns on the other one that attacked her. Remember, there was a second one that attacked her, and she's going to attack it. Our compatriots are all, they're all good to go. They're all doing fine. Okay. Strikes with a solid blow. This goblin looks like it's looking pretty sickly at this point, but again, she is also struck by the splash damage of this thing, and it burns as she is hit by that for a little bit of damage. Okay, that's going to bring us up to Titus with Jaraxxus on deck.
All right, I think last time I Jaegered Titus, we learned that Laser Blast is amazing, and so I think Titus is going to turn to... there's one of these goblin things in melee with Titus right now?
That's right, yes. There are 2 that are pretty badly hurt and 3 that are fresh. And,
okay.
Yeah.
I forget, is there a rule about trying to make a ranged attack while something's in melee with you? Like, I know if you target the thing that is in melee, but what about, like, targeting something else while something else is in melee?
So typically, if you're trying to do that directly, You have disadvantage basically. If you're within 5 feet of a hostile creature that is not incapacitated and is like on you, then you're going to have disadvantage on that attack roll, even if you're aiming at something else, because basically you have to take your eye off of that thing, and you leave yourself not open, but it just makes it harder because you've got to worry about this thing. Now you could always just disengage again, step back 5 feet, and then fire ranged at something else. You could totally do that.
Okay.
You could step back, Daniel-san, as the movie goes.
All right. And that just uses movement, right?
Right. Yep. It uses all of your movement, but it keeps you from taking attack of opportunity.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, Titus will do that.
Okay.
5 foot step back, and I'll target the one that's in front of Titus.
Okay. Sounds good. Fire away.
And yeah, I'll do the laser blast. Here we go.
Blast.
It's basically a guiding bolt, so I kind of remember.
I think
Gotta
it's
roll to
ranged
hit.
Channeling.
Yeah. Yep.
I think.
Ooh, that's an 11.
11 is not going to do it. Sorry, it's a miss. Yep. And the creature says this horrible, like, not sounding like a typical goblin. Well, you've never seen anything like this anyway, but Fob and Nalik can tell you that does not sound like a typical goblin. Okay.
That's all Titus is going to do.
That's going to lead us then to Dr. Draxus. What would Draxus like to do?
All right.
Fob, you're on deck, but after the bad guys go.
Yeah, I think we have no choice but to fight these things. So Draxus is going to... Oh, you know what? This would be perfect in this situation. So I'm going to use a bonus action to do Symbiont Mark, which is essentially Hex.
Okay.
And Hex has that ability that when your Hex target dies, you can move the Hex to a new target.
Yep.
So I'll Hex the blood goblin in front of me.
Okay.
I'll disengage for my movement, and then I will Sprite Beam Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
On that guy. Okay.
Proceed.
I will proceed. Here we go.
You shoot it into your face. Wrong ending.
Oh, not the camera. Oh gosh.
Nope. Sadly, a critical miss.
Clean the camera off. Oh.
I apologize unreservedly. Yeah, sadly, that's not going to get the job done.
Dang.
Yep.
You know what?
There's a copyright strike for your YouTube videos.
Yeah, I know. These things haven't... I'm debating using an ability. But I'll save it. Yeah, that's all. But at least my Symbiont Mark is still on it.
Okay. Yeah, a little brutal, Drew. I agree. Okay. Now, so I need to remember, as I was in the process of figuring out where everyone is, I forgot which goblin is on which person. Like, I forget which one was hit. Fob, did you hit yours? You did, right? Because you had to then duck out of the way. Yeah, okay. So, all right, now I know then. Okay, so let us see. We are going to have, first of all, the one that you almost destroyed is going to attempt to attack you. But again, 13 is probably not going to do it, right? All right. The one that Elu hit the hell out of is also going to miss. Boy, these things cannot hit for anything. When they do hit, they do a lot of damage. Okay. The one that is on Titus is going to miss. Oh, no. Titus was the one... Sorry. Titus actually hit with the beam.
No, he did not.
Oh, did not hit with the beam. Okay, so that one's going to miss.
Nope.
Nulls, the one that is on you steps up, so kind of steps up to close the gap again after you step back. And that is a 15. I think you said you had a 13.
Correct.
Okay, so... All right, this one is only 5 damage. You'll be happy to know that you can't be more poisoned than you already are, so you won't be double poisoned, so you don't have to make a saving throw in this case. Okay, so 5 points of damage, as I mentioned. Okay. The one, so we did the one of Fob, no, Titus. That leaves the one that's on Jaraxxus.
Yeah.
And that, oh my goodness, 11. Terrible rolls.
That hits.
Does it really? You have an 11?
Draxus has terrible. His dex is -1. I'm not wearing good armor.
That is going to be 8 points of slashing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Got it.
More like a Simba don't. Exactly true.
All right. Here's my super large, extra amazing con save of a natural one.
No.
God.
Oh my goodness.
All right, and that's to be poisoned, right?
That is to be poisoned, yes.
All right. And now, to be fair, I'm concentrating.
Oh, you did. Wait, though. You did have the 5 temp, right? So.
Yeah, so it's only 3 to my full HP.
Okay. And now
after
poisoned.
all that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I have to make a con save for maintaining my spell.
Yep.
Because I just took damage.
Yep.
Ugh.
Nope.
Okay, I am going to spend my ability, so my once per short rest ability that's perfectly balanced. When you or a creature within 30 feet makes an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check, I can use my reaction to have the d20 roll be treated as if it had rolled a 10. So I'll do that so I can not lose my hex.
Okay. Got it.
And
Thraxis, remind me again what the hex does, by the way.
So the hex, if I do hit, which now I have a lesser chance to hit because I'm poisoned, but if I do hit, it adds an extra d6 damage.
Okay, that's what I thought. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then so that was the hit that went on you because it was still their turn. Okay, that's going to lead us to Fob. So, 2 hurt. The one that's in front of you is badly hurt, extraordinarily badly hurt. So.
I'm going to hit it with a sword.
Okay, sounds good. Crit Twitch. It was great knowing Jaraxxus. What a what a wonderful. Jaraxxus is fine. Nulls is the one who's in more trouble. No.
I presume a 16 hits?
16 will indeed hit, yes.
Or 9 damage.
Okay, so 9 damage. That is that is enough. I think there's also sneak attack damage in there, but it doesn't matter. You blow it the hell up. When you blow it the hell up, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw because it's the kind of flash dance shower one would not want. Okay, it's the. Wow, you just parkour through the blood drops. Okay. Very nice. Okay, yes.
Yeah, that's where all of our VFX budget went, apparently, is Fob's one per episode VFX spit was
exactly.
Fob spinning through
out
blood.
Of the way. Yeah. Good stuff. All right, Fob, so you have destroyed it now. What would you thank you, first of all, Mrs. Dunsel, for the Prime sub, 59 months. Thank you, Ms. Dunsel. I hope all's well. I mailed your thing, by the way, Mrs. Dunsel, so you should be getting your prize for the subathon soon. So Fob, where do you want to move to?
I am going to stay where I am and use my bonus action to take steady aim on one of the surviving ones for this round.
Okay, it sounds like a plan. And steady aim, I think, means that you don't take
as a bonus action, you give yourself advantage on your next attack roll on the current turn.
Okay, that's right. Oh, wait, though. If it's on the current turn, it's not going to be the current turn by the time we get to him, right?
So
I would save it next turn.
Next turn.
Yeah. Just start with your bonus. Yeah. Okay. Because you've had such a hard time, hitting him so far, Fob. I mean, such difficulty. Okay. All right. That's going to lead us to Nalik, who is sadly still poisoned and is facing down this one creature.
Nalik is going to cast Healing Word on herself and then disengage.
That seems very logical on all points. Okay, and Healing Word I think is, it's 5 points. Okay. Lovely. And disengage makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And Nalik, the Healing Word's a bonus action, and the disengage is a movement. So you
could still take a standard.
So I'm going to do the same thing I was doing before with the banging the ground.
Okay.
And strumming and making that really obnoxious high-pitched sound.
Okay.
With my voice.
Okay. So yes, you can feel the rhythm, the sort of rumbling below your feet in the ground. We'll see what effect that may or may not have. Okay. That is going to bring us up to the top of the round. Gamork is going to turn to yet another one. As Gamork finally misses, but I mean, listen, Gamork has been doing serious work there. Elu definitely does not miss. In fact, In fact, Elu freaking decapitates the thing, critically hits it, and the head goes flying off. A spout of blood. I apologize. I'm trying not to be too graphic, but you get the idea. And let's see if she can avoid that. No, she can't. She was too busy posing after the Conan move. So she is going to get hit by that a little bit. However, there are now only 3, although they're all fresh, of the blood goblins here left. That brings us down to Titus with Jaraxxus on deck.
Oh, wow. It's already back to us. Okay. Titus Littlefoot is going to...
Yeah, exactly, Drew.
Nalik, do you still look pretty hurt?
I have 15 health.
Okay.
And I'm poisoned.
But otherwise fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise hale and hearty.
Okay. I'm gonna look at this real quick. Titus has an ability called trauma. Does it inflict trauma on someone? Oh, wow.
Say.
It does. That's pretty traumatic. Don't know if I want to
share with the class.
It says you. Oh, I don't know if this would be useful against these creatures. It says you cause a rupture to form on the creature's body. Make a melee attack, melee forging attack. On a hit, it takes 3d10 necrotic.
What
so
a terrifying, horrible thing that would
it's amazing.
In no way be dangerous in this
Very
situation.
much called trauma.
Wow.
Ooh. All right, but yeah, the goal is to just kill these things. So we'll just do the electrical surge.
Okay. Go ahead and make that attack.
The cantrip. 8.
No, miss sadly.
That's it. He'll disengage again for what it's worth, but that's it.
Yep, these 5 footsteps back. Okay, Jaraxxus, you're up. Remember, you were poisoned as well.
Right.
Do not yet know what you're going to need to get a saving throw here.
Yeah. Is it such a thing that we make a save at the end of our turn?
Not yet. Something presumably has to trigger it, and you don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
It's not happening automatically.
Will Sprite Beam again.
Okay.
With disadvantage.
All right. Sprite Beam.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. 16.
Wow. It would have been a crit hit, but a 16 will do just fine. Yeah, that hits for sure.
I'll take it.
All right.
Ooh. This is the one in front of me, so that's the D10 of Sprite Beam. That's awesome.
I love
and a D6 from Hex. Ooh. Okay, so 6
okay.
points of damage.
Okay, now the good news is you'll be happy to know that since you are not right up in front of them, but are hitting them from a distance, the spray of blood from hitting them does not hit Titus. So you're enough far away. So you've definitely hit it. It's definitely hurt. Not as hurt as the others, or as the others were previous to being destroyed, but it's definitely hurt. Titus having already disengaged, I believe. To do that, that's going to... Sorry, Jaraxxus, I beg your pardon, doing that. That's going to bring us to said creatures. They are going to... The first one's going to step up to you, not happy that you have been having been hit by your Sprite Beam, and is going to get a 22 to hit you, which I believe... Yeah, sure. Suddenly, I am not affected by that.
Yeah, my AC is 11, and... also was not affected by the number 22 specifically.
Exactly, because it's half. So that is going to do 7 points of damage to you. As I mentioned to Nalik, you'll be glad to know that you're not double poisoned. So no con saving throw is necessary for that. There are 2 other ones. One of them is going to engage with Gamork, which is on it. Is going to miss. The other one is going to engage with Elu and is going to miss again. Boy, these rolls are just not what we want. I mean, it's what you want. It's not what they want. Fob, that leaves you up. One that Jaraxxus just hit is hurt, but not horrifically, and the other 2 are fresh.
I'm presuming that now I'm going to use my steady aim on one of the ones that is fresh.
Okay, sounds good. Steady aim time.
Now, are you still attacking in melee? Or do you have
No,
some
I'm
ability?
using my short bow.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
great.
because Fob destroyed the one that was on them in melee,
Got
and then
it.
is like steps around smoothly, short bow, Legolas style.
Does a 13 hit?
13 just misses.
Wait,
13
you have
just
advantage
misses.
because of steady aim?
Oh, right. That's
Oh, I
right.
have
That's right.
advantage, that's
Yeah, you
right.
do. And you're not poisoned or anything, so
Right.
yeah, good point. Good point.
Let's
Oh, there you
try
go.
22
Yeah,
instead.
22 will hit, of course.
So, let's do-
What would we do without Fob?
1 million. Yep, Fob's kind of a badass.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the right window to.
To kill some goblins.
Where's my goblin killing window?
Killing window.
Blood goblin, please. Specifically.
yeah.
7.
Ooh. Okay, now
Oh, and sneak attack.
sneak attack, right? Because
of-
well,
'cause getting
yeah,
advantage.
because you had advantage on it because of steady aim, which means that does take sneak attack damage. So, 14, you blow it the hell up, and again, because you're some distance from it, or not like a long distance, but like over 10 feet, it's not going to hit you as it blows up. So, that leaves 2 that are left. Fob, are you moving anywhere? Now that you have like access to any of these creatures because of
No,
where
I'm
you
just
are.
I'm staying where I am and sighting on another of the fresh ones.
Okay, sounds good. That's going to lead us to Nalik. There are 2 left, including one of them that's on you.
How far away is the one that's on me?
It is like right up in your grill because it stepped up to you again. You disengaged, it stepped up. It disengaged, you stepped up.
Okay,
So-
if I disengage, can we see at all what Nalik stomping the ground is doing?
No, all you can do right now is feel it below your feet.
Okay. So I can disengage and take an action, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The stomping is doing something, right? We don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I can't. Right. You don't know for sure, but you can.
Can I feel the rumbling
Yes.
can I feel the rumbling?
Yes.
Okay.
You feel the
So-
earth move beneath your feet. You feel the sky tumbling down, as it was said.
Okay, so I don't necessarily have to stomp again because it's not like it's a concussive thing and then it stops. It's continuing to go on.
Let's see. You're not sure unless you stop to see, because you've been keeping it going for a
Okay.
couple rounds, so you
Yeah.
don't know yet.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I'm going to disengage and keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay. You do that. Make a Make a perception check for me, please, Knowles. You're going to have to do this at disadvantage because you're poisoned. Double Poison is the name of your new all-drow girl band. I love it for Justin.
Well, that's going to suck. It was going to suck anyway.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Okay. That was Knowles. That's going to bring us up to the top. There are 2 goblins remaining. The wolf is going to... Gamork is going to go after one of the fresh ones. Is going to hit it again. Jeez. It's the MVW, most valuable warfare. Okay. Is going to hurt it. And there is a spray of blood, and he is going to not make the save, so is going to take some damage from the hissing blood. Elu is going to come in on that same one that Gamork is attacking, and is going to also hit again. All right. Okay, that one is now extremely hurt, and Elu does make her dex save on that one, so she gets out of the way of the blood. Okay, that's going to bring us to Titus. One of them is fairly hurt. One of them is extremely hurt, Titus. And Jaraxxus is on deck.
Titus, I think, is going to rinse and repeat because no one's gravely injured. So we're
Okay.
going to electrical surge again.
Okay.
And roll the same thing I rolled last time.
No luck.
Titus is like, the god that's controlling me today sucks.
Where are you positioning yourself anywhere, Titus?
Backing up again.
Okay. Jaraxxus, what about you?
All right, same deal. Same
Second verse,
bonus.
same as the first.
Same as the first. Disadvantage.
Okay, with the Sprite Beam.
Yeah, that's already not going to hit, right?
Let's see what the other one is.
Okay.
Yeah, the 10
would have been a
The 10 is a miss.
You have to find your fun somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Sadly a miss. Sorry, Jaraxxus.
Yeah.
Okay, the two that remain are going to attack. One of them is going to attempt to attack Elu feebly, I think it's fair to say. The other one is probably going to attack Gamork, and is also going to miss Gamork. These guys cannot hit for anything. Fob is up next. Nulls is on deck.
I am shooting, and I'm going to again use the steady aim.
Steady aim power. Gotcha.
Do it.
Yeah, that steady aim sneak attack is a pretty good combo. That will hit for sure.
Okay, so at 8, we'll go with the 18.
Okay. All right. And was it on the one that was more or less hurt, Fob?
On the one that was less hurt.
That was less hurt. Okay. That also, like, just in a shower of blood. But you're not near it, so you're okay with that. Are you moving anywhere, Fob?
Are there any other? There's one left.
One left. Yes.
So Fob is just kind of in this mode where you see the bow now swivels to that one.
Yep. Like. Yep.
Motionless, except
I got
for
it.
that movement.
Also, Fob, make a perception check for me, please.
16.
You feel the earth below your feet is rumbling a little bit. It almost feels like vibrating, might be a good way to put it.
I say to my friends, there's a vibration coming from below us.
Jaraxxus looks over at our party member who is currently stomping and playing a yarding.
It's true.
I wonder where that's coming from.
Speaking of said party member, Nalik, what would you like to do?
So I find it interesting that the one that was attacking me has left me. Is that correct?
Yes.
You said it's gone after Gamork.
That's right.
That's
Which
very interesting.
Yes, which it may have seen as more of an immediate threat, perhaps.
Maybe.
Or maybe it was repulsed by your amazing play. Or playing, in this case.
So it's not on me, correct?
Right, that's right.
How far away is it?
10 feet.
Okay. It's
Very
too far
hurt.
away to. It's too far away to. I don't have a spell that can attack it that far away.
Unless you move up to it.
Not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
You
me
do
see.
have a light crossbow, looks like.
Yeah, I don't have bolts. I don't think.
Oh.
I would have.
Yeah, because she just got it. Just
Right.
got the light crossbow recently.
I would have attacked like that sooner.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, and all my weapons are melee weapons.
Yeah. It's interesting.
So I am going to keep what I'm doing and step back again.
Okay. Make another perception check for me, Nels. Unfortunately,
Maybe this one won't be sucky.
Fortunately, it's a disadvantage because of the poison.
Well, that's better.
That part is poison. Poison. Okay, so remember disadvantage, so need to roll that again. Okay. 16 is still pretty solid. Nals, you notice that the throne seems to be vibrating in resonance with your play. Your playing.
And yes, I let everybody know the throne is vibrating to my beat.
Which brings us to the top of the round. One goblin remains. Gamork goes after it. Gamork, the slaughterer of creatures. Jeez. I guess what's happening is that all of my rolls are going to your NPCs and not to my monsters, because Gamork is.
Yeah, you should just stagger it.
I mean, really.
Move it over by one.
Okay, leaps on it, and not to put too fine a point on it, basically tears his throat out. And as he does
Is Gamork doing okay? Because he's killed a lot of these things.
He has, and he's been hit by a bunch of the sort of the leftover blood here. As the last one expires and sort of sinks to the ground, and you're sitting in this sort of smashed, clearing, the smashed cylinders, I should say, on the clearing with all this broken glass in the ground. The throne is continuing to resonate with Nalls. Nalik, do you keep playing?
Yes.
Okay. So you keep doing that, and then there is this like this crack down the center of the throne, and then the throne basically splits, and there is from somewhere this sort of shrieking scream, and then this sound of "You'll find me when you don't expect," and then passes, and the throne having split, silence reigns, and Elu kind of stares over at you, Nalik, and says, "Not bad," and nods at Fob. "Not bad at all." And then looks at Gamork, and there's this moment where both of them, covered in acidic blood, Elu and Gamork, look at each other, and Elu says, "Even you weren't bad." And Gamork goes, And that's a good spot for us to take our break. Little late, but we had to get through the combat, I think. So you are watching Day 18 of Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks, sponsored by Alligator Alley Entertainment. I am joined tonight by, as always, Toya Kristen Finley, by Kat Rambo, by Zach Clay. I do have an announcement I'm going to make, so I'm going to let the players head off, and then I'm going to make this announcement. And players, I'll see you back here in 5. Okay, let me just silence their Zooms. Okay, and let me go over here, and let me put up, and I think I may have heard the sound of someone come in below. So before I make this announcement, let me just check. See if someone is down there. Ah. Hey, sweetheart. Love you, honey. Sleep well, honey. I'll see you tomorrow. What? Sunbeam. All right, I'll see you tomorrow for the game. All right. Okay, so an announcement. Let me make this announcement. And the announcement is as follows. Now, you will all remember, or many of you will remember, that it was my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. We played the first adventure in that, Night at the Forbidden Library, at the Klein, the historic Klein Theater in Bridgeport, Connecticut, in May as part of ARVCon. We did it in front of a live audience, which included the Dunsels were there. It included Lotwook, one of our viewers. It included Hilness. It included Drew. So we had a lot of people that came out to watch this event. And of course, it featured playing Adam Petrosino, the high school student who had won the essay contest. It included Carlos Hernandez. It included C.S.E. Cooney. It included one Zach Clay, and it included Darkside Rob. Well, I am very happy to announce that coming up on, and I believe it is January 27th, but let me confirm just a moment. I believe it, no, not January 27th. I think it's January 26th because it's a Friday. Coming on January 26th, I am happy to announce that we will be producing the sequel known as Return to the Forbidden Library at the Klein. The Bridgeport Public Library is funding a return engagement at the Klein, and they are going to be making these tickets free. So it is going to be a general access event. So the Klein is going to be hosting part 2 of Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, and it is going to feature, once again, Carlos Hernandez will be playing, C.S.E. Cooney will be playing, Zach Clay will be playing again, and we will again have Adam Petrosino, who is no longer a high school student, but is now a freshman at Sacred Heart University. Adam will be returning as well. Rob cannot make it, unfortunately, to this one. Rob will not be playing with us, but stepping in ably for him will be none other than Canada's own Brandon Crilly, who will be joining us for this event. So Brandon is coming down from Canada. I went up to Canada this past weekend for CanCon, and I also did a bookstore event at Perfect Books. Brandon is going to be coming south of the border and is going to be joining us for this D&D event. And so Brandon, Adam Petrosino, Carlos Hernandez, C.S.E. Cooney, and Zach Clay will be back on stage with me performing for you part 2 of the Forbidden Library. This one, Return to the Forbidden Library. It will be happening on a Friday night, and we have reason to believe that this will be hopefully even more successful than last time because, first of all, Friday night instead of a Thursday night, so that's good, not a school night. Secondly, it's January, which means that the weather is not going to be super great, presumably, so we would expect more people to be inside rather than on a beautiful Memorial Day weekend, heading out to do other things. So that's the case. Moreover, of course, we've done this before, and we hope that they will be able to spread the word because right before this event, it gets better. Right before the event begins, and we're planning to run it from, I believe it is 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, I think. I have to double confirm, but I think that's right. But right before it starts, for a couple of hours previous, in the lobby of the Klein, we are going to be having what we call KleinCon, which is basically in the fairly sizable lobby, we're going to be having a group of stores, not a huge number, but a group of stores, bookstores, a couple of game stores and things like that, basically will be hawking their wares. We'll have a couple of special events going on out there as well. So that means that on this Friday, we're going to have KleinCon, which will then lead up to the actual D&D live event, which will be happening on stage. Again, that will be free and open to the public. KleinCon is free to the public to enter. Of course, if you want to get merchandise, that is something you're going to have to pay for, and concessions, same thing, like, food and drink and all that stuff. But otherwise, you are going to be able to watch the event live. You will also be able to watch this on live stream. Now, live stream probably is going to have a ticket price associated with it. I don't think it's going to be super expensive, but they will be probably charging tickets to be able to watch this online. So if you're interested in watching it online, you can do that. I may or may not be able to co-stream this, like streaming on my channel. We're going to have to work that out. We're not sure yet. But in any case, so this is not associated with ArvCon, but this is something which I'm very happy that the Bridgeport Public Library is promoting. They're also doing it because there are a couple of sizable D&D clubs that the public library is involved with. And of course, Zach is one of those people who is doing this stuff in San Francisco. So it made sense for us to do it here. So I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited that we have everyone coming back, except for Rob. But again, we'll have Brandon stepping in for him. And I'm excited to show off Night at the Forbidden Library's sequel, Return to the Forbidden Library, at the historic Klein. So that's going to be happening January 26th, Friday, and we'll be talking much more about that as time goes on. But I did want to announce that we're about 3 months out, and I wanted to announce that now, and it's going to be super fun. So yes, I am now officially announcing KleinCon and the D&D event to follow on that Friday night. So I hope people will be able to make it. It's going to be a good time, and I'm excited for it. And now, because I see that everyone is back, I am unmuting myself, and I have now made the official announcement, Zach, that you will be returning to the fold, and will be coming out for the Klein event, the Return to the Forbidden Library, as you're going to be reprising your role as a Tortle teacher. You're going to be reprising your role as that. Also, by the way, chat, my band, Zach's and my band, The Road, is also going to be playing a show the weekend after that up in Boston at a place called the Lily Pad. We'll have more details about that when we get there, but we are going to have more fun music and stuff like that happening the week after. So we're combining that all together while Zach's in town, but it's going to start with that big Klein event on Friday the 26th. So we're excited. It's going to be good times. I am happy for it. So yeah, you'll definitely want to mark your calendars for that. Okay, welcome back, players. So you are staring at this this cracked throne and these shattered cylinders. The Lady of the Blood is nowhere to be seen. But I will say that when the throne cracked, Jaraxxus and Nalik, I will give you both a chance to make saving throws now, Constitution saving throws, and these you can do, both of you, at advantage. So we'll give you the chance to do that. Okay. Talk about that 15 in a minute. Okay. There's one from Nulls. Let's do a better one. Because advantage, Nulls. So you got one more. Well, the good news is...
It rolled off of 13, of course.
Oh, naturally.
Which would have been 15.
Naturally it did. Okay, so the good news is Jaraxxus is no longer poisoned. The less good news is that Nalik is still poisoned. The throne is cracked, the cylinders are broken, and there is no sign of the Lady of the Blood.
What's happened to... Are these blood goblin corpses still blood goblin corpses, or do they, like, dissolve?
They have mostly... They sort of... What's left of them has mostly dissolved into the earth. Yes. And Elu kind of is like breathing heavily and says, after having said all that stuff about good job to everybody, what were those? What was that thing?
I don't know, but a leak. Good. Well, both Fob and Titus, I didn't get to do much, but that was you did the thing with the stomping, and gosh, that was awesome.
And Nulls is kind of wiped out by the poison, so she's like,
Well, now what?
Elu says, sort of wiping her blade on the sickly grass of the clearings, is exactly. Now what do we do?
Jaraxxus is gonna look around. I mean, this was basically the center of the forest, right? And so...
Yeah.
Was there a direction she kept looking in whenever she said the word portal?
Sadly not.
In a safe place.
Exactly. In a safe place. Yeah, no. Sadly not. Now, there is, of course, from here, Elu does know how to get to this vein, this tunnel that she mentioned. But that seems like it's going to be, it's going to be a rough trip. But she does know how to get that. But in terms of where the sort of realm gate is, you don't know.
and how hurt is Gamork?
Gamork is reasonably hurt. The acidic blood doesn't continue to burn. All of you are hurt a little bit, but the one who's in the worst shape is probably Jaraxxus, followed by you, Nalik, and also, of course, you're poisoned, as you know. And then probably Gamork would be the next most after that. Well, okay. Titus is kind of hurt too, though, but not. Gamork is probably hurt a little worse.
Jaraxxus is going to use his Innervate shield again.
Okay. To bring
it's almost like I got the Halo shield that just I can always like.
Yep. Yeah. Right. If you haven't been hit by a while.
Right.
Yep. Back up to that 5 temp.
Or I just rolled for it because technically it's when you cast it, it's a D4 plus 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got 7 temp right now.
Oh, okay. Right. Yep. 7.
But anyway. And there was a path that led us here, right?
There was.
But this kind of seems, being the center of the forest, like this is it. Like there's no other path out, or
The only thing, well, I mean, you could start exploring around it. You have the, those cylinders that are broken now and smashed.
Hmm,
The only thing that's different now that wasn't there before is this massive crack down the center of the throne.
yeah.
Is there like a hole that's opened up underneath?
No, not
That'd be cool.
underneath it. The crack, it's a large crack. I mean, it's not large enough to walk into, but it's large enough that you could try to, you could try to reach into it theoretically. It's big enough that you could get hands in there or a sword or something like that.
Jaraxxus will sort of gesture to it, to Nalik, says, "You did that. Maybe there's something inside."
Yeah, but I'm also poisoned and I could get more poison.
Right. All right, I'll give it a shot. I'll go up to the throne and I'll ask for Titus's help.
What do you need?
Looking through the, I guess, wiring or whatever we find inside the throne to try to understand more about it.
You don't find wiring, but you do find sort of dripping down through this, behind in the crack, sort of dripping down within it, is the same kind of strange, sap blood mixture, I suppose might be the best way to put it. That's kind of dripping down from somewhere inside the tree.
And it's a tree?
It is the trunk of a tree, yes. That's what the throne is made of.
Hmm.
Could these networks lead us to the gate?
You mean the wires?
Yeah.
I think they just go to these cylinders.
Yeah, the cylinders into the throne.
I'll go up and inspect the cylinders too.
Okay.
I guess.
Go ahead and make, I guess, an investigation check. They're pretty smashed and bloody. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I mean, yeah, they don't really seem like they'd be useful anymore to us. We know why they were being used. I mean, maybe if we arrived and they looked like this, but no, I guess just looking for anything maybe that was left behind. I'm assuming that the creatures in the tubes were nude and that they didn't have anything on them.
Yeah, you don't see anything else that they possessed, if they had any possessions.
Yeah,
What's beyond the throne?
Just the sort of just the kind of forest, the trees in back of the clearing. So, you have the trees surrounding it, then you have the throne sort of in the center of it. And then, you're in the middle of a glade, basically, this with the trees surrounding you. So just more trees.
Jaraxxus will gather some of the weird blood goop.
Okay.
Sap goop, blood goop thing.
Okay.
And put it in.
I was gonna say, what do you do with it?
Yeah, I think I have an extra. I think I will. Does a tinderbox, is a tinderbox actually a box that stores tinder?
But it's very small though.
Very small. I'll empty out my tinderbox of matches and stuff and just put the whatever is in there in my backpack.
Okay.
And then I'll put the blood goop in the tinderbox.
Okay.
So I mean, from what I'm seeing of what tinderboxes usually are, they fit in the palm of your hand, so that's okay.
That's right.
All right.
Okay, you can do that.
And Jaraxxus will say, "I don't know, everyone. I think there's I don't see any portals, so I'm sorry, Elu, but
And
I don't know. Did we make the wrong decision? Or
Should we proceed beyond the throne? Is that where the Lady of Blood was going to give us passage?
maybe we could go deeper into the forest.
Why not? Aside from the fact that we're going to get ambushed by her at some point.
Yes. I'm willing to continue. Oh, if we wanted to head to this tunnel, Elu, would we be heading backwards? From
More
where
or
we
less. We would be going backwards and somewhat up to the north.
So where we came from.
More or less.
Well, and what time is it?
I was just trying to think about what time of day it was. I think we said that it was about maybe early afternoon, I want to say, is when you had reached the glade, this clearing.
We could walk deeper in. I don't know how I feel about camping in this place. So.
And Elu says, I know how I feel, kind of looks around.
Maybe we go deeper in until, in order to leave the forest to camp, we have to turn back at some point, maybe before evening. And then maybe just do the tunnel. I hate to think this trip was a waste, but maybe we did achieve that release for these people, unfortunately, as it is. What do we think?
I think it's our only option.
Agreed.
All right.
So you're going, as I understand it, right behind the throne and towards, like, straight back, right, towards the clearing.
There's no kind of clear path. We can't kind of look and see, like, there's no sort of a choice of like 3 trails. It's just like it could be.
There was one path that kind of led you into this clearing. The rest of it is not. They're not any paths per se. And it's a fairly dense forest as well. The only thing that's open is the cracked throne tree thing now, and the path from which you came. Oh, you're muted, I think, sir.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think we just go behind the throne and just see if we can go deeper or notice any landmarks.
So when you go to the back, like to that side, so you go past the throne, Fob, when you step up there, Nalik, when you kind of woozily step up there, when Titus, Elu, Gmork, the trees do not yield to them. It's just very dense cover, and it's almost, they sort of stand there being like, like, how do we go in there? But Jaraxxus, when you come to the edge, the trees suddenly bend out of the way. It almost feels as if they are, for want of a better term, shifting, but it can't possibly be the case. They're trees. Yet somehow there is a path responding to you, Jaraxxus, for some reason.
Well, you did get assaulted by those mushrooms. Maybe you're still connected to them.
Or I hand my tinderbox to Nalik and walk away.
Okay. The path does not close. Because Nalik is still standing. Where are you standing, Nalik? Like in the same spot that you would have been before, I assume?
Yes, I haven't moved.
So then, yeah. Then once you hand it to Nalik, who's standing in the same spot right at the edge, the trees do not shift back.
I say, what if whoever has her blood sap thing is what it is?
So I take a few steps.
And they move out of the way.
Can you, Nalik, you're a very talented musician. You can talk to animals. can you talk to plants?
Well, I can try. So, I guess I kind of hum under my voice to them as we're
Okay.
walking through. And I'm assuming everybody's following behind.
Yeah, I think if they're making a path for us, we go.
Yes, and I want to note the visual because as you are all right there, about 15 feet to 20 feet behind Knowles, the trees close up again. So you're in this like bubble almost as you're passing through. Gamork is like is very like this whole thing is just like a big nope. And Elu is also somewhat uncomfortable. You can tell just based on her reactions. As you were sort of walking through, Knowles, by the way, as you're sort of like holding the box and walking through, your poison does not disappear, but it definitely feels as if the impact is less. You're not sure what that's from, but you feel your blood burns less at the moment. So just keep that in mind. And as you sort of walk through, there is in this spot in the forest no sound. That's one of the reasons I'm not playing any music. No birds move, no birds twitter, no foxes dart from tree to tree. You don't get ambushed by acorns and pine cones. Just dead silence, almost an oppressive silence. Until, as you are passing along, suddenly, probably actually not that suddenly, we're about a half hour probably, the trees open again, and you are looking inside a clearing, a smaller clearing than the one that you just came from, but it is a different kind of clearing as well. This clearing has in the middle of it a stone platform. And atop the stone platform is a 30-foot wide circular arch. And this arch is forged from white stone. There are bronze and copper and silver bands that are interwoven with the white stone very cunningly. It must have taken extraordinary craftsmanship to do something like that. And along the rune-covered surface of the gate are jagged seams and gaps where it appears to have been altered or repaired. And when Elu sees it, she... That's it. That's it. That's the Realms Gate right there.
We did it. Wow.
Well, let's get through it before
Yes, hurry,
come
get
and
through.
us.
How do we access it?
It doesn't look on.
It will be, Elu says. And she sort of steps up to the platform and she lifts her hand, and a silvery, shimmering sort of sheet almost within the arch, kind of wobbling and back and forth, surging open within this ring.
Within the whole ring?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she says, "This is the way that we get to and from Celis."
Wow. Now I was going to say, with the Lady of Blood gone, maybe your people can start to use this path again, but something tells me she's not gone.
And by the way, is it okay, and I have the tinderbox, if I leave this here? Because I don't want to take it through the gate.
I don't want to leave it, though, because what if she comes and snatches it? That's our key if we come back through.
I'm also wondering if it will call to her.
Well, I guess what would we rather? Have a way through, but risk her seeing us? I mean, she said that she has eyes everywhere anyway.
Well, I suppose that's why she wanted her guests to tag along to spy on us.
Right. And that has no eyes.
We could wrap it in something. We could put it in another box.
Yeah.
multiple boxes.
Russian doll nesting boxes.
I think we should take it. And Jaraxxus holds his hand out for it.
Yeah, I was going to give it back to you anyway. He
Okay,
says,
all right.
well, you were the one smart enough to bring it along, so.
I put it away. I wrap it in my bedroll and put it in my backpack.
Okay. All right, you can do that. And
Well,
Elu waits with her hand up, the portal still shimmering.
Since when could you do these Esper abilities, this magic?
There are only a few who are able to access Celis using this gate. I am one of them, thanks to my parents. Make an insight. 1 second, I'll make an insight check for me, please, Jaraxxus.
Okay. Oh, that's one of my skills. 23.
Elu's sort of her expression as she's holding it open is both. You might have expected her to be like even more excited that like we're finally there, but her expression seems ambivalent or mixed in some way. When she mentions her parents, she seems a little like uncertain. Not like she's deceiving you or anything, but like there's something going on.
I know we're all excited to see the portal, but can we get the down low after we go?
And
well, you all go first. I need you all in front of me so I can get the shot of all of you walking in.
And before he can finish, Nalik walks through.
Followed by
wait, not that fast.
Okay. This is some cross between Stargate, going through the Stargates, and I don't know if anyone's going to get this reference. There was an 80s television show called Voyagers, not Star Trek Voyager, but Voyagers, about these time travelers who had to go to different times in history to fix problems with the timeline at those moments. That's not that unusual. But the music that they had when they went through was this like, if anyone ever has a chance to look it up on YouTube, it's like this da 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 da. Like when I was a kid, it was really awesome. So it's something like that. It's this strange combination of there's a kind of feeling almost of euphoria as you pass through this, and after a few seconds, the surroundings of the wormwood fade away. You're in this sort of dark and light at the same time tunnel, like sort of this shimmering light giving way to darkness, giving way to light, and then fades away to reveal a massive underground cavern. And across from the platform upon which you now stand is a grand decorative archway. There are a pair of heavily armed guards standing on either side of the arch. And two of them approach you. And yes, Trifid, like pre-quantum leap, that's right. So two of them approach you. And hold up these and these ones look like loaded for bear, like no joke armor. These spears. They remind Niles and Fob a little bit of the guards in Camria, but these ones are much more. The armor shimmers and sort of has this kind of almost purplish glow to it. So they look like they know how to use their weapons and like they know their way around their armor, but it also feels a little bit like the armor itself is not the usual sort of, that there's something that's been done to it or sort of changed it in some way. And as they come up, they say, "All of you stop. Why have you come here? Why have you come to Elasanth?" And Elu says, "I am Elu Whisperwind. I and my friends here have come to visit my parents, Lord and Lady Whisperwind. These," and she points them out in turn, "Titus, Nalik, Fob, Dr. Jaraxxus, and she pauses for a moment, and Gamork. And like the wolf kind of growls slightly, and the guards are like, kind of like this. "These are my guests." And the guards sort of look at each other and then look back at you. You notice that each of the guards, by the way, their helm reveals their features. They have very sort of thin, fine features, and they would remind Nulls and Fob of elves, except these are elves that have a kind of almost a twilight colored skin might be the way to describe it. There is a kind of shimmering about their skin as there is about the armor, and their eyes glow a kind of almost teal blue. And they both look at you, both of the guards, and then, very well, Lady Whisperwind, you may pass on. Your parents will be happy to see you. And they step back, and the guards that are standing by the arch also step back and allow you to pass, and Elu kind of nods to you and walks by. And as they walk by, the guards close ranks behind you, and in particular, Gomork. None of you need Speak with Animals to tell that Gomork and the guards are clearly not on the same wavelength. The guards are very suspicious of Gomork. And actually, you know what? I'm going to have Nalik make this roll. I know you're poisoned, unfortunately, still, Nulls. But I'd like you to make this roll for me for a reason I will describe. So make an insight check for me, please.
Can Titus offer some help in the form of... I know you can't really help with an insight check, but maybe there would have been a moment where Titus realizes that he doesn't really have any abilities that get rid of poison. But the best thing he can do is try to make the person feel a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a prime talent called Amplify Ability, which I hope is what I think it is. I think it's like Guidance, which, yep, it says once during the duration, the target can roll a d4 and add it to one ability check. So it won't cancel that disadvantage, but it would give a bit of extra. So
yep.
Nalik, you still have to roll 2d20 and take the lower, but you can roll a d4 and add it.
So I also have the cantrip Guidance.
Okay.
Would that help too?
Well, they can't stack. You
Okay.
can get guidance from yourself or from Titus, but not both.
Okay, I'll take it from Titus then.
Okay.
Okay. You said insight?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we're looking at a 16.
Or
11.
Or an
and then
11.
roll a d4.
D4.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. Disadvantage. 11, and then the D4
Did it roll?
has not yet.
Okay. Where is it?
Where is the
Did it
brightness?
show up at all? You use the roller in the bottom left of D&D Beyond?
There. 1. So
Oh,
it's 17.
No, it's a 12, right? Because it doesn't cancel out the disadvantage. So it's the lower roll 11, but then add a 1. Yeah, there's definitely the guards seem to be somewhat preoccupied with Gomork, but you can't tell why. There's I mean, like, it's not the first time you've seen people be nervous about, a dire wolf, but there seems to be some other kind of almost revulsion and also fascination on the guard's part with Gomork, but you have no idea what that's from.
So, Nalik actually speaks Elvish.
Okay.
Can she say something in Elvish to them?
You can.
So she tells them, I know the dire wolf looks fierce and mean, but he has been loyal and fierce for us, and we would not have made it without him.
So the guard that is sort of escorting you out looks at you strangely and says, kind of in common, your words have no meaning. You get the impression they may have picked up a word or two, but it doesn't seem like they understand Elvish exactly.
In what language do they reply to?
Common.
Ellie, then. Oh, okay.
And I say to them, "You're not elves?"
And one of them sort of looks and sort of smiles grimly and says, "Not anymore." And they hold out their hand, and just as they say that, you exit from the cave. Now I get to fire up my music again. Different kind, though. You are standing on a raised rocky platform that is built into a cliff wall. From here is a beautiful vista of what looks like, although they've just said that they're not, but it looks like an elven city. There are elegant buildings built along the cavern floor that are intermingled with sculptures and dwellings set within the dark stone walls of an enormous cavern that stretches beyond the naked eye in either direction. And as you're sitting there, Fob, you have to take a moment to sort of back up as a winged creature like flits past these strange black-winged birds almost. They almost look like a cross between bats and birds. Fly about. They don't attack you, but you can see a bunch of them flitting about the city districts and structures and up to the where you are. Below there is a lake and canals, and waters flow from all around you down the walls into this lake and canals, and there is a soft greenish luminescence, and light from the decorative foliage reflects upon the crystalline patterns along the dark stone of the ceiling. It looks as you look up as if you are gazing upon a sky full of stars, and the lake itself is reflective of the stars in the ceiling. And the guard says to you, "Welcome to Elisanth. Tread carefully." And Elu sort of looks at you and smiles and says, "It is beautiful." And she walks along to the edge of this platform where there are two robed figures. And now that they do not have helms, and you can see that they do have slightly pointed ears, slightly angled eyes. These look like elves, Nalik. Like, you're just like, what the hell? Like, they do look like elves. But again, the shimmering sort of skin, twilight skin, as if you're dealing with, you don't know, creatures that have been altered, shaped in some way. But they are wearing robes with stars, reflective, looking like the stars in the roof above. And they are standing behind a set of 6 what look like circles around which are built different symbols, kind of like the one that you saw, the big one that you used to come here. But these are all on the floor. There are 6 of them. And Elu steps into one of the circles, and she motions for you all to join her.
Nalik just says to Elu, "Does this seem like home?"
And Elu says, "One kind of home, yes. It was the place from which I came, and it's been a while, but I would never forget it." She says, as you all sort of walk over in her direction, "One other thing. The people of Elisanth here abhor the use of Magitech. Remember, it was the explosion, the cataclysm that destroyed much of it, and some of it came from what my people believe were these experiments with Magitech and technology. So anyone who uses it they view with suspicion. So any devices," and she kind of, like, her eyes flicker to you, Jaraxxus, "should be kept minimized."
Jaraxxus is like full-on tourist travel vlog
Yeah.
right now.
And she's like, and you can tell now, actually, as you look around, Nulls and Fob, it doesn't even take a check for you to, and Titus can see this too, that the robed figures and the guards are sort of staring at Jaraxxus's item, and a couple are still staring back at Gamork. And Elu says, "It may be hard to explain him in any case," and she indicates some of the sort of mechanical, some of the armor stuff that's on Gamork's back and all that, which clearly has a kind of mechanical nature to it. And she says, we'll do what we can to explain him, but Jaraxxus, I don't know if we want to also be trying to explain you. As you're like...
Oh, this is amazing.
As I almost get to the edge and almost accidentally fall off, I back up. Oh, that's a deep fall. What? What were you saying? Sorry.
Be careful.
Put it away.
And she nods. Exactly.
Oh. I tap my visor and my recording lights and all that stuff. Blink off.
And she nods. She says, thank you. We need to be respectful. And she's waiting in the circle.
Bob is
And
joining.
I follow into the...
Yeah.
Sorry. Was that Fob and Niles both going in? Okay.
Yes.
Jaraxxus goes in. Gamork hesitates and kind of growls, looking like sort of sniffs suspiciously at the circle. And
I hold out my palm and just kind of back in.
And Gamork narrows his eyes and slowly pads forward. Anyone who's ever owned specifically a cat, I think here, would know the experience of the cat being like, type of deal, until finally goes all the way into the circle.
Just
go
a
ahead.
quick question.
Mhm.
Is Gamork blind? Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
This is
never
all
mind.
like smell and sniffing and,
Okay.
sort of. And when they get inside the circle, the two robed figures raise their hands, and you all feel a slight nauseating feeling for just a couple of seconds. Although, Nalik, it feels particularly not so hot to you at the moment because of your state. Like, oh, God. But very shortly, you are standing in a beautiful, what sort of looks like a small garden. And it is clearly, as you look up, you can see the cavern walls extending way above you. So you've clearly been teleported down to like the city proper. And you are standing in a small garden somewhere within that proper. And Elu looks around and says, takes a deep breath and says, I have missed this place. The garden overlooks a large lake. And in fact, let's see, can I show you this map yet? I don't really have the map to show you yet. I will have it for next time. But it is a large lake with multiple rivulets coming from it that flow into the city. Rivulets that turn into little brooks and streams and things like that. And she points down and she says, that is Moonshadow Lake. And this is where my family has lived for a long time. Oh. And you see suddenly what all of you think looks like at first like a luminescent butterfly, but as it draws closer, you can see is actually a creature, a tiny humanoid with luminescent wings. And it comes up and, no, is that Elu? It must be Elu. And sort of flies around, and Elu starts laughing. You've never actually seen Elu laugh before, so there's like, all right, it's fine, Rel, it's fine. It's not fine. Bzzz, you've been gone for too long. Bzzz. She's like, I know. Calm down. And Rel like finally, like slowly spins around, and then kind of is just hovering. And Elu says, "This is the caretaker of our gardens, Rel. Rel, these are my friends." And then she introduced, this is Titus, and this is Nalik, and this is Fob, and Dr. Jaraxxus, and this is Gamork. And Rel is kind of like smiling and then sees the wolf and is like, bzz, like kind of flies up a little bit. And Gamork, slight chuckle.
Rel, it is wonderful to meet you, and I'm sure I'm going to get to know you better, but you got any healing waters in this garden?
Healing waters? Why, are you sick? And she kind of buzzes up close to you, like no, personal space, like right up in your face. And she's like, oh, Elu, she's sick. Well, we can't have that. And she alights on your shoulder, Nulls. And she says, all right, now, if you don't mind, just give me a second, and I can fix this, if that's okay.
Lay it on me, sis.
And she takes her wings, and for the first time, they've been like a hummingbird the whole time. Zzz, and they stop, and they just, like, touch gently the side of your neck, and just... And as she does that, you feel... I don't know if anyone can identify with, on a very hot day when you haven't had a chance to drink water, and you drink some cool water and you can feel it literally going down that way. This is what it feels like, but in your entire body, Nulls. Your burning blood cools as water, something flows through it. And thank you so much, by the way, Shadow Mage, for the resub from Soft Game Levels of Pain. 74 months of Tier 2 support. Thank you, Shadow. I really appreciate it, man. This flows through you, and as you're standing there, as you can feel this flowing through you, she sort of, you kind of look over and she smiles and she says, there we go. No one should feel sick upon coming to this place. And she kind of jumps off.
Nulls just stands up straight and takes in a deep breath and says, oh, thank you. You are a lifesaver, quite literally.
And she smiles and she says, the least I could do. You brought Elu back to us. Oh, you need to come see. Well, listen, you need to come see your mother. She's there, down in the glade. And Elu sort of, yes, well, yes. All right. And she looks like uncomfortable or something. Should we go? She kind of looks to all of you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's go. And I do have a question. Did that restore all of my health or just remove the poison?
It would just remove the poison.
Okay.
But I'm sure that feels better than that would be the case otherwise, yes. And she, Rel lifts off and hurries down, and you follow after her. And while you follow after her, you are pretty confident, Nalik and Fob, that you're looking at some kind of sprite. But like everything down here, kind of this almost twilight colored skin that seems to just, again, that shimmers as if there's sort of it almost seems to reflect a little bit like the stars on the ceiling. Everything here seems to have a kind of light luminescence in some kind. And Rel brings you all the way down into behind this house. Now, the garden you were in was atop the house. Very nice, almost like a manor. And behind it is a small grove and garden within this semicircle of large trees. And you can see a person is walking very slowly through it. And Rel buzzes over, over towards the figure and buzzes around the figure, and the figure stops. They have a dark dress shimmering with silver threads that almost look like little bits of glitter in the darkness. And the person sort of listens and then turns around, and you can see this very beautiful woman who looks to be of maybe of middle years, but reminds you a lot of Elu, actually, in some ways. And when she sees Elu, Elu kind of smiles, and the woman looks and says, Eluvia, is that my Eluvia? And Elu is like, yes, mother, it's me. And the woman sort of nods and then takes several steps, and then Elu takes several steps, and they embrace. And she says, my child, I'm so glad you're back here, but you didn't let us know that there was no message to be sent, or And Elu says, Mother, there's much has happened. Darius, Mother. And the mother says, what? Darius is dead. And the mother kind of stares and says, what do you mean? We have to talk, Mother. My friends and I, we have to tell you what happened. Cambria is in trouble. We all are in trouble. And you see the woman's expression change from happiness, joy, relief, to sadness, and unless you miss your guess, an element of tightness in the cheeks, in the lips, in the chin, a set of the jaw. It reminds you of what happens when Elu has gotten angry. And she says, then we must talk. Rel, go prepare the house for our guests. We must speak of what has happened to my son. And that is where we're going to bring our session to a close. We are in Celis, people. Celis, known as the City of Stars. And this, by the way, this session that we're going into, this level of the campaign, is called Shadows in Twilight. And I thought the party would be interested to know that upon entering this place, they have reached level 4.
Yay!
Yes.
Level 4. Very fun stuff today, folks. I cannot wait to see what happens in Celis, which is a very different kind of place than where you just were. That was a scary situation that you were dealing with in the Glade, and there are no great options there. Obviously, like, I'll just give up my blood. Like, I can understand why you would be like, yeah, wait, what? But obviously, dealing with those blood goblins wasn't cool either. The one thing that did work out in your favor is the fact that they could not hit anything. But you actually hit yourselves more, really, than the goblins did. But when they did hit, as in particular Nalik learned, Jaraxxus a little bit, but especially Nalik, they did a fair bit of damage when they did hit. So that could have gone in a very bad direction. But you handled things, I think, quite well. And Nalik, with the sort of rhythm resonant thing, was very helpful. And Dr. Jaraxxus picking up the sap, and Fob being the usual incredible badass in combat that Fob usually is. Everybody, I think, put in the work. And of course, most valuable Wolf. Let's not forget Gamork himself doing a lot of work in that fight too. And bring you into Celis, where there is a lot going on down here, and it's going to be interesting to see how you all manage a place that is as suspicious of Magitech as Celis is. I'll start with Zach at the bottom right. Good stuff from Dr. Jaraxxus today. Obviously, good call on the collecting of the sap with the tinderbox. And obviously, you did happen to hit with the Sprite Beam a couple of times. That was good too. I did love the idea of the command that you tried at the very beginning, but you were dealing with someone who was a fairly significant, figure on her own ground, and it was going to be difficult to actually get that across. That and the fact that she's obviously like straight up malicious. I hope that was clear to everybody. This is not a nice person.
No.
But you managed that well, and I cannot wait to see how Jaraxxus handles a no Magitech, don't use Magitech around us world. That is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about today's session, Zach? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Amazing. I'm looking through feats right now as we've leveled to 4, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to roll hit points next time.
Yes.
Or now, or I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, no, yeah, tonight's session. I was gonna say what better display of the union between sci-fi and fantasy than everything that we did today. I mean, aside from maybe having a ship fly by or something, but fighting a tree blood witch who stores her victims in magical metal tanks.
Yep.
And creates blood goblins with wiring and blood sap.
Like, could you get more Final Fantasy? Like more, Genova and all that? Like,
right. And then we come across a portal that is activated by magic, but was made by technology.
Yeah.
Kind of. And then now we're just in a full-on Underdark city filled with magically altered elves. Like, this is just crazy. So yeah, I loved it. And very the vibe shift of now us being in a city that is, at least seems like it's a safe and cool place, although I'm sure we're going to find out all the
I'm sure everything
ambient-
here is fine, and there's
everything here is fine.
Yeah.
It's not like the last time we were in a city, everything went to crap. But no, I'm very curious to see what secrets lie in this city, and also like Elu's family and their involvement, and us sci-fi characters navigating our way into this, and me finding a way to record still, but subtly. And maybe also finally getting access to, I've been wanting to make that drone, that familiar, for a while for Jiraxis, and so getting access to the materials to actually do that should be good. But yeah, I had a great time, and the fine people will find me here for this, of course. And then also for our vocalists, where we've had a great time doing Ace Attorney.
Coming up this Tuesday, by the way, folks. Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's right. This Tuesday for our October, and then November, and then December we have the Christmas special
Carol
with possibly one of the biggest our vocalist casts.
That's
to date.
true. That's true. A lot of people jumping on board. Yep.
So otherwise you'll find me on my Twitch when and if I stream, and other places you'll hear about soon.
Good stuff, Zach. Always a pleasure. And of course, you'll see Zach at that KleinCon event coming up in January as well. And maybe some other cool stuff that Zach and I may be cooking up. You may hear about that in the not too distant future as well. Thanks, Zach. Good stuff tonight. Kat, wonderful stuff from Fob as well. Yeah, I mean, like, and Fob obviously has a lot of stuff that is going to work outside of combat. Like I told you, I can't wait for the whole investigation thing, because it's going to be super useful in this section you're going into. But man, does Fob do some serious work in combat. And it's mostly because the idea of being able to combine the steady aim followed by what sneak attack does because of the advantage thing is a no joke thing that is definitely going to be part of the reason that Fob will be the number one target of every enemy group. I mean that I'm just kidding. But Fob is powerful and is going to be in combat for sure. You know.
Fob has a very high dexterity and a very high strength, so we may think of Fob as small, but Fob is actually fairly
deadly.
Dangerous. No,
Yeah,
I like this character. I'm enjoying them quite a bit, and it's always so much fun to play with folks. And as Zach mentioned, that mix of the sci-fi and D&D is a really nice texture, and it's enjoyable.
That's good stuff. Where will we see you next, Kat, after your trip to Spain?
You won't see me again until December, but please check out my Patreon, and I've got classes coming up in December, and there are events still going on in November for my Patreon members. So, yeah.
Good stuff. And safe journeys, Kat, and I have a wonderful time in Spain. Moving right up the line, Toya, again, great stuff from Knowles on multiple levels. The rhythm thing, as I mentioned before, was a really good idea. It was one of the things that helped and sort of played along with the whole mushroom, roots underneath the trees, like all of that stuff, I think was part of the mix that was useful in this particular situation. And, in your case, you have this whole, because Nalik is so sort of tied into dreams and to things being below the surface and all that stuff, it sort of, I thought, had a nice symmetry to it that you were looking below the surface physically here in this circumstance. Probably sucked to be poisoned a lot of, the session today, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. You did manage to clear it at the end. And I think just like Fob is going to find this place very useful for Fob's investigative skill, I think Nalik is going to find this is a place also that will be very good for Nalik's dream skill, dream work skill, and dream sort of investments, because this is a city that does quite a bit with that sort of thing, as we will discover. So there's a lot of good stuff down the pike as well. How did you feel about tonight's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Oh, yeah. So really quickly about Celis, I've already got questions that I definitely want to find the answers for. I'm also really, really curious what would have happened if somebody had offered the Lady of Blood some of their blood, and a guest, quote unquote, would have gone with us. Like, I don't know if that'll come into play at some other point. You can't answer that, but I would really, 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 really love to know what would have happened. But yeah, sometimes Nalik feels like a little bit underpowered because of like the spells haven't been incredibly useful in circumstances, and like the melee weapons would have led to like really bad stuff, I think, with the way these goblins were just spilling
acidic blood
gore.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to be able to contribute in a way that, you know, ended up defeating the Lady of Blood. I think Nulls is good at the long game, so like connecting with the idea that there were underground networks and spores and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to like affect that network in that way was a lot of fun and very satisfying, to be honest. Where can you find me? You know, I'm just on the internet. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, so you know.
It is always a pleasure, Toya. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Johnny, who could not join us tonight, but Johnny will be returning. We'll talk amongst ourselves whether we're going to be meeting in all in November. We may not be. We'll decide that. If not, we'll definitely be back in December. And when we do, I swear on all the heavens that we will have everybody here for our December sessions as we proceed through Celis with our new level 4 characters. And we'll find out all their new abilities next time. Chat, can we get some love for the awesome Johnny Pittman will be back with us next, but especially tonight, Toya Kristen Finley, Kat Rambo, and Zach Clay. Players, wonderful work today. Super excited to see what happens as we get into Celis. And safe travels / have an awesome one, and I will speak to you folks all soon. Bye for now. All right, and that is going to do it for them, and that is going to do it for us for this evening. Yeah, I really, really love the mix of fantasy sci-fi here as well. This sort of like leans a little more gory than I generally like to do. This particular one did. But I think, again, it was sort of like in keeping with the season, right? Like it was very much in keeping with spooky world that we have with Halloween upon us, and I'm very excited for what comes next, and I appreciate people's enthusiasm in chat for this stuff as well. I was very bad about this today, and I have to ask the players to help and remind me. I want to remind everybody about cheers because the cheers in this campaign, anything that is cheered during our campaign sessions, go directly to the players. So if you cheer bits officially, that stuff goes to the players, and I have always tried to mention that at the beginning, but I was so happy for us to be getting into the campaign and getting into the session again that I did not actually talk about it till now, so that's my bad. I'm sorry. But just know that if you officially cheer through Twitch, those bits are ones which are going to go towards the players and which we'll be able to do over time. So I did want to mention that, and I'm going to have to remind them about that so that they can remind me so I don't forget, because I feel bad that I had said I was going to do that. Other than that, though, I'm very grateful to Alligator Alley Entertainment for sponsoring us. I hope that they're having a wonderful time at Gamehole Con, and I hope that you folks had a wonderful time as well. And if you did, I hope you will follow the channel. I hope you will check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, Discord with !ArvCord, Twitter with !ArvTweets, website arvaneleron.com, financially !ArvShop is the merchandise area. We will have Expedition from the Mysterious Peak stuff up there by the end of the year, hopefully sooner than that if I can. But you can also get, of course, Shire Adventure stuff there soon. Right now, you can get Eberron stuff there, as well as Arvaneleron logo stuff, so you can get all that stuff there. Also, !ArvTreon is right there. That Patreon, which is really the financial backbone of the channel, that gets you cool stuff that moves the channel towards various channel goals, and it's stuff there that you can get, which you can't get through subbing to the channel, and subbing to the channel lets you get other cool stuff, like as well, inspirations to help the players, but also you can get custom sub badges and emotes to use everywhere across Twitch as well. So that really helps too. So please do all of those things because that can definitely help. On the publishing side, Exclamation Point Icarus for my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Exclamation Point Library is my Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And as I have now announced tonight, the second part of that adventure, Return to the Forbidden Library, will be presented live at the historic Klein Memorial Auditorium in Bridgeport, Connecticut on Friday, January 26th, preceded by KleinCon. So that's going to be happening. I'm very excited for that. And I hope that people will, if they can make a trip to come see it, that would be great. If not, then just checking online would be good stuff too. Yeah, I'm very excited for that event that's going to be happening in January based on that Forbidden Library stuff. Finally, of course, Exclamation Point Greyshade is my Greyshade Grey Assassin Trilogy universe. Greyshade and Renegade are both available right now, as is the audiobook of Greyshade by Trent Sparks. You can also get pre-order the final book in the series, Heretic, coming out next year. That's the final book of the Grey Assassin Trilogy. And you can pre-order the tabletop role-playing game from Brandon O'Brien, also being done by Alligator Alley Entertainment, which has generated a lot of excitement at Gamehole Con this weekend. So you can pre-order that at that link as well. So please head over there to do that. As always, Exclamation Point BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation Point Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. It's important to help each other when we need help, and to help each other to reach out when others need help as well. And last but certainly not least, Exclamation Point Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage. And we send the message that we'll do that for others in this situation in future. On the schedule note, I will be back tomorrow night with more Eberron, Oracle of War, as we move right into the middle of that campaign, halfway through. Those characters are all level 10. Then we will be off probably Sunday and Monday, but I'll be back Tuesday with Starfield, and then we'll be playing a little bit of Talisman Adventures coming up. And then Tuesday night, I have the Arvocalist back with Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. So that's going to be a good time. And remember, at the end of the month, October 31st, a week from Tuesday, we are going to be doing our Edgar Allan Poe annual event, which we're going to do at night, and that is going to be a good time. And so I am going to be super excited for that. Again, thank you to my wonderful mods, Drew the Damager, Prince Justin, Shadow Mage, Triffany Mats, the best in the business. Thank you to my wonderful Patreon supporters and subscribers, Drew, Justin, Shadow Mage. Thank you to Alphabet Streams, Crit Twitch, and Mrs. Dunsel, of course. Thank you to my viewers, 7B Valette, Cat Rambo, of course. Thank you to Colliman, to Dragon Spear, who's been lurking. Thank you to Harlequin, to Mark, to Marinda, to Mr. Jonas. Hey, Marinda. Mr. Jonas, to Spofo. Thank you to Steven, to Ugly Jester. Thank you to Vimk, Wispy Song. What's up, Wispy? And, of course, Zach Clay. And special thanks tonight to Alligator Alley Entertainment for sponsoring us, and to my wonderful players, Johnny Pittman, who will be back with us next month, /December, but also Toya, Kristen Finley, Cat Rambo, and Zach Clay. Thank you so much for the awesomeness of being you. Let me just double check and see quickly who we may have here by way of rating. Who have we got? Okay, I think I see. Okay, so yes, we're going to do a raid, and that raid is very simple. If you are not a sub, you're going to do this. The Arvanauts have landed, followed by Twitch raid. Lowercase Twitch, uppercase R, lowercase AID. If you are a sub, you're going to do this. Arvany hype, and then the Arvanauts have landed. You do Twitch raid again, and then all of the Arvanys you can imagine. Arvany Woe, Arvany Witch, Arvany Smug, Arvany Love, Arvany Blown, Arvany Fail, Arvany Crit Hit, Arvany Crit Miss, Arvany Yay, Arvany Ha, all the Arvanys to demonstrate Arvany Smug, all the Arvanys when you were brought over auto-magically with the rest of the folks. And I will see you folks Saturday at 7:30 p.m. for more Eberron, and of course back here for more Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks coming soon. Until then, please stick around for the raid after the video, and I will see you lovely folks down the line. Until then, everyone, please be good to each other, and bye for now.